Hello, I am Dan,
And I'm Max.
and this is Fightography.
I am wondering how much you keep up with award ceremonies.
Ooh, well, that would depend on the award ceremony because there's a whole number, and like the Razzies, I always get excited by what's to get nominated for them.
That's the real one you focus on.
Oh yeah, which Bruce Willis film
the
was his
Oscars.
worst performance in the last year? That's what we ought to know.
Well, today we are not citing the Razzies.
Oh,
And as you know, the Oscars are fast approaching us.
they are.
And what you may not know, because I certainly didn't know,
Ooh.
is that the BAFTAs were last night.
Oh, were they?
The BAFTA awards, or of time of recording, they were last night, yeah.
Ah.
And I was wondering if you saw any winners, any losers.
I can't say I did because I didn't even know they were happening.
That would make sense.
I know the sort of comedy awards were the other night because Sex Education won quite a few awards, which was pretty good to see.
Well, let me tell you, Dan.
Mm.
Do you want to know who the winner of the best male Oscar, or not Oscar, fuck.
The best Oscar,
male
Oscar Isaac,
BAFTA
Oscar.
I mean, if this guy goes on to win the Oscar, it's going to be very, fucking Sixth Sense shit.
Ooh, okay.
Do you know who won the BAFTA for best male performance?
I do. Let's see if I can have a guess. I don't want to guess. Go for it. Tell me.
One William Carroll Smith II.
Oh,
Commonly
okay.
known as Will Smith.
Oh, that's based on one of the films we did last week. This is interesting.
Yes.
Are we going to talk about After Earth again? God help me.
No, we're not, because I didn't want to watch it after your review.
I don't blame you.
I had the luxury of he's got quite a few films, and I sort of had the luxury of sort of taking the pick. I still had to watch some ones that were not fun, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's got some very iconic roles, some very deadly characters.
Yes.
And yes, Will Smith is going to be our next person for the Fightography.
I think
other names, of course, the Fresh Prince.
I think we can safely say everyone's favourite Will Smith performance is, of course, Deadshot from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, what is one's opinion of William Smith?
Oh, well, I like Will Smith. I think he's a very charismatic actor, I think it's interesting in recent years how he's tried to sort of move away from his sort of cool guy, charismatic guy you want to have a drink with, to sort of the more stoic and stern sort of father figure type.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not entirely sure it's a move that he should have done because, films like After Earth, films like Suicide Squad,
Oh, I see.
they're not
what you
his
mean.
best performances, I think he's better when he
that's-
sticks to his sort of niche.
I guess that maybe comes with age, I suppose, because you can be the charismatic, cocky guy when you're 20.
Yeah.
But when you're in your 50s, as he is now, well, I being a father, I imagine takes precedence.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Although he does-
That's
He does look good still for I could believe him as sort of
he
a
looks
mid-30s.
incredibly good. He's 53. He looks very good for his age.
He could easily do what Tom Cruise does and just have all your scripts refer to you as young man.
Never age.
Look here, young man, Tom Cruise in your 50s. So, but I think he's done some, great iconic films and shows over the years. I Am Legend was...
Some I'm sure you forgot, because this is the thing. It's like it is sort of delightful when you get actors like this, because you remember a few of their key roles and you're like, oh, they'd be good in a Fightography, they'd be good in a battle royale, and then you really look at the list and you remember some people that you haven't really thought about, and you're like, oh wow, they'd be really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And there's some really great choices. I've avoided... This is the thing, he's been nominated for, I believe, 2 Oscars, and he's, of course, been nominated for a film called King Richard, which looks really interesting, and I'm down to watch.
Yeah, I saw that advertised. That's the tennis one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about Serena and Venus Williams, their father, and their training. Their speed, their ferocity, their training. He's had 3 Academy Awards. I beg your pardon. Oh. Saying that, none of the characters that he played in those films felt appropriate for a battle royale.
Oh, right.
So I've skirted to more of his fun roles. Let's say not to say that the other films aren't fun, but they do contain characters who are kind of who've been through terrible perils in real life, and maybe not the best thing for a battle royale, but maybe I'm wrong. Regardless, I've picked some fucking banging characters, and I'm very excited to see who comes out on top. I'm
sure, yes. Yes, are we going to get some aquatic denizens on the list again from what was it called? Fucking...
No, I was tempted. Oh. I was tempted.
Fish. What is that film? Fishtail? Not Fishtail.
Sharktail.
Sharktail, that's what it is. Sharktail?
Yeah, even though he's not a shark in it.
No.
Yeah, no, I decided not to do that one, just simply because he's about, half a foot long. It was like, wow, if he was like, we could make him, like a 6-foot fish. I mean, we probably could have, to be honest. I forget the rules, but maybe I didn't want to watch Sharktail. Maybe I...
Fair enough.
Anyway, shall we get down to it?
Yes. Yeah. Do you have any sort of other opinions on Will Smith yourself?
I like Will Smith. Yeah, no, he's good. I don't know. He's in an interesting. He feels like he's been around since forever. I guess because he was very popular in my upbringing. He was popular now. No, I like him. He's cool, and some of his films are films that I've been watching since I've been a kid. So
yeah,
it's gonna be exciting times.
Yeah. So, who is first on your list?
First on my list, because I did tell you, I gave you a clue that I was watching a Michael Bay film.
Oh, is he in The Rock? That's the only one I could think of possibly being.
No, he's not in The Rock.
No, I don't think he was, but you never know.
Have you seen Hot Fuzz?
Yes, I have seen Hot Fuzz.
Well, let me tell you that Will Smith plays Detective Mike Lowry in Bad Boys 2.
Oh, wow. Is it specifically Bad Boys 2? I thought it was like all the Bad Boys is... No, that's Kevin
he is
Hart.
in all the Bad Boys, but apparently it's Martin Lawrence who and Will Smith. I just heard that, especially from Hot Fuzz, because I hadn't seen any of the Bad Boys, is that Bad Boys 2 was the best. So I was like, fuck it, I'll watch Bad Boys 2.
Fair enough.
And try and catch up. And it works. It works as sort of an independent film. And it's actually, I can't believe I'm going to say this, a film that is arguably very entertaining.
Oh, wow.
For Michael Bay.
There we go. Max stands Bad Boys 2, everyone.
I sort of do, in a way, because it's very funny. It's very cool. Like, this is the thing. It's like, it was the film where I was like, oh, Michael Bay has found a film that his direction works with. Like, all the crazy explosions, all the extreme panning shots, all the going in circles, all the, like, shots at 1,000,000 miles per hour. It actually really worked with this film, which is essentially, I think it got a little bit, it's 2.5 hours long, mate. And I think it got a little bit stale in that, like, ending that second act, going into the third act. But essentially it is just 2.5 hours of car chases, shootouts, explosions, murders.
Okay.
And it's pretty fucking cool. It's like really like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, this is awesome.
It does sound pretty fun.
My favourite bit, and of course, being the pasty white man I am, I've got to sort of kind of skirt around this very carefully.
Oh, no.
But the opening thing is they so it's Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, and they're very funny.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence is sort of the I guess the comic relief, and Will Smith is the sort of straight man who's like really proficient with weapons and vehicles and stuff. And at the start of the film, they sort of infiltrate a KKK group.
Oh God!
In a very like funny, like humorous way, not like a really like serious thing. But I just sort of tell you to watch it because I found I was immediately sort of laughing when like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence take off their sort of what is it, the KKK cloak
the hood
gown or
things,
whatever it is, and reveal themselves. And I can't repeat what Martin Lawrence said, but he just delivered the line in a very kind of funny way.
Oh God!
Yeah, I can't really talk about it.
I can imagine
entertaining.
the variations of what it could be.
It's very funny. There's a lot of scenes, yes.
Wow!
And I just enjoyed it. It was funny. The plot, I guess, was sort of fairly thin in the sense that it's just them trying to like do a drugs bust essentially for the entire film. But it's funny.
Yeah.
Again, Will Smith's charismatic. Martin Lawrence is very funny. The action's awesome. Some of the moments are just cool. And yeah, good time. Good time. I'd recommend Bad Boys 2.
Oh, yeah. I'll give it a look out because they did what was it with Bad Boys 3 came out last year? They did like a trilogy box set
a couple of years ago. They're doing that now. It seems to be like a kind of a common sort of theme that films that came out and were popular in the sort of mid-2000s are getting like another film.
Yeah. It's sort of in a similar trend of like the Legacy sequel, but not quite. It's not quite like Halloween and Star Wars, but it's sort of not far off that either. It's yeah.
So Will Smith in this film, sort of as I said, very proficient with guns, very good at driving. He's got an attitude as well. He's got the sort of like charisma, the kind of hard attitude.
Okay.
Of like, it's like they're shooting out a drug den, and the people in the with the drugs who are like hiding from Will Smith's gunfire. They're like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm the devil, motherfucker."
So it's fun, Will Smith. Cool. It's not new serious.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's not. Yeah, it's not a serious film, and this is the thing. It's not a serious film. It's meant to be funny.
Yeah.
But it's got some really cool action as well. Will Smith is like, this is the thing. He's funny, but he's also competent, which is sort of a thing a blend you sort of never really get, really.
No,
because he is funny, but he's also really competent. So I'm willing to give him for this. I'm willing to give him sort of like 2 like really fully loaded, badass handguns.
Okay.
Which he can use essentially as if they're machine guns because he's so proficient in them.
Nice.
He's not always in a car, but he does drive like a nice Lamborghini or Ferrari, sort of in the first act.
If he's like if he's like the sort of like rogue, sort of like cool, badass cop sort of thing, they normally have like a car, like Starsky and Hutch style. So I think we can keep him a car if we want.
We could give him a car to make it a little bit more fun and make it a bit interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't really use the car very much, and this is sort of very inconsistent from normal rules.
Does he do the bonnet slide on the car at any point?
I don't think he does,
Oh.
It does a lot of cool He does a lot of cool stuff. They're essentially like chasing these guys and on a highway and everything's exploding and they're just sort of reacting to it. And it's I think that's why the film is sort of so successful in the way, because it is essentially sort of 2 idiots.
Yeah.
Just sort of reacting to Michael Bay's filmmaking. So they're just seeing all this explosions, all this just crazy shit happening. And they're just sitting there just like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Wow.
So it is. You know what it feels like? You've seen Tropic Thunder. I think we watched it together.
We did, yeah.
You know how that's a film about people trying to make a film?
Yeah.
I feel if the film that they shot in the story of the film was released, it would sort of be this.
Okay.
Just like 2 hours of just crazy explosions, sort of stuff not really making sense, but it's sort of not mattering.
Yeah, it's just
and
fun.
Being in the matter. It's just sort of dumb fun. So, yeah,
wow.
I'm willing to give lots of pistols. We can give him we can let him pull up in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Or a nice Lambo or a Porsche or something. We'll let him pull up, but maybe he can get out.
Does he have like any sort of explosives on him, given it's a Michael Bay film? Does he make anything explode himself?
No.
Oh.
No, he stands in a minefield at one point.
Oh, wow.
But, Oh, maybe we could do it in a minefield.
Oh my god! No one gets any kills. They'll just step on a landmine and blow themselves up.
Well, this is the thing. You can't see. I don't know. We'll discuss it later on. Moving on.
I got it into my head that Kevin Hart was in these films for some reason. Is he in films at any point, to your knowledge?
No.
Okay, and that's just my imagination.
Martin Lawrence is sort of quite Kevin Hart in the sense that he's quite small,
short guy, chip on his shoulder, kind comedian. Of thing.
Yeah, and he's sort of the guy reacting. He's the guy kind of like bumbling around, being terrified of gunfire. I would say Martin Lawrence is, no offense to Kevin Hart, but way more entertaining than Kevin Hart. I think he does it so much better. I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they're sort of like similar. They play similar characters. The sort of kind of bumbling sort of idiot, who's sort of kind of short and reacting to everyone and being terrified by everything. There's a moment where he gets taken hostage, and he's not taken hostage, like he's got a gun held to his head, and Will Smith is like pointing the gun at the guy behind him who's holding Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And again, this sort of sums up the kind of relationship that they have in the film. And Will Smith as the badass has just been like, when we started this mission, my partner knew that he could die and my partner was willing to die for this, so you can shoot him because I'm going to shoot you. And Martin Lawrence is like, no, I never agreed to that. What are you talking about? And it's just quite funny.
That is funny.
So yeah, Bad Boys 2, give it a watch. Will Smith is a comedy badass.
Comedy badass. I heard a really interesting theory at Michael Bay. Sorry, another weird tangent. So, if you're familiar with the Transformers franchise, I watched a video dissecting them in great detail. Now, the character Michaela Baines, people have pointed out, has a suspiciously similar name to Michael Bay. Michael Bay, Michaela Baines, the Megan Fox character, if you forget.
The Megan Fox character.
Yeah.
I don't watch... I've seen the first one, I think, and maybe like the second one.
But yeah, Megan Fox's character is called Michaela Baines, which people have pointed out is a suspiciously similar name to Michael Bay. And basically, there's a whole video dissecting how, if you look at how a character is written in the script, like purely on paper, she's actually a lot more... of a, not feminist icon or anything, but she's a lot more sort of a powerful female character than the actual filmmaking would let you believe. Like, she talks about how she doesn't want to be sexualized and how she's good with cars, but the way that scene is shot, it's sexualizing her, and just an interesting dichotomy between script and screen. So
yes, I don't know. I wouldn't say.
If you want to find out more, check out The Whole Plate. I think it's Lindsay Ellis who did it. The Whole Plate on YouTube.
Why are we giving shout-outs? Why are we giving shout-outs on our podcast?
I don't know.
We need shout-outs as it is.
This is true.
We need to shout out our own podcast.
This is true. If you like what you're hearing here, then please listen to Jazz and Sandy's Fightography. You're already listening to it, but keep doing it.
That's better. Moving on.
Yeah, just an interesting observation I wanted to bring up, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it is quite interesting. I'm not sure, I don't know, I think anything Michael Bay does is deliberately feminist. I'd say the opposite.
But I don't know who wrote the script. Maybe that's Michael Bay just butchering the script writer's work, which,
maybe
wouldn't surprise me.
And I also think, again, in a sort of more silly way, like action is louder than words.
Yeah.
I think it's quite easy to write a character who sort of... is quite independent, because it's an attractive trait to have someone who's kind of independent, can fend for themselves, are sort of good at standing up for themselves. But if you do shoot them like a piece of shit, then not sure how far the sentiment goes.
Yeah. And Michael Bay, fun films. If he ever wants to work with us, please, we'd love to make a film. Very fun.
If you wanted to make a Bad Boys 4 with, two white guys from England, go for it.
Naughty Lads. The spin-off of Bad Boys, Naughty Lads. We'll happily make it.
Fun, what I realised the other day?
Yeah.
And this is something to viewers who maybe don't know what we look like. It just occurred to me that we're sort of the spitting image of Mario and Luigi.
Yes.
Take away the moustache.
Yes.
I'm Mario. I'm the sort of kind of smaller sort of, not a huge one, but and you're like Luigi, the kind of like taller skinny one.
I mean,
and I just thought, we look like Mario and Luigi. Like, it would be great if we went to a Halloween party as Mario and Luigi.
It's better casting than the actual film, Scott, to be fair. So,
Exactly.
Fuck it. It's me, Mario, as Chris Pratt will surely deliver the line.
Anyway,
moving on.
Will Smith. Now, a famous character you may know was played by Will Smith. Agent J from Men in Black.
Yes. Yes.
We are the Men in Black.
Oh, classic.
What a tune.
Did you ever watch the tie-in cartoon?
I might have watched an episode or two of it, but I do remember there being a cartoon.
It was that era where like all of these like big family-friendly blockbusters had like a tie-in cartoon. The Mummy had one.
Yeah.
Godzilla had one. Men in Black had
Evolution.
one. Evolution. Yes. Oh, I love that cartoon.
Yeah. I love that cartoon. Not sure about the film. But.
The film was fun. The film was. Yeah.
So what do you remember about Men in Black? Because I'm hoping it seems like a film you would have seen.
Oh, I've seen. I think I've seen all three actually. Yeah.
Yeah. You excluded the fourth one. Which I haven't seen.
I actually forgot there was a fourth one for a second there.
Yeah, no, so did I. That's okay. We don't have to talk about that one. There's no Will Smith in that one.
No. I'm sure, if you want to watch Thor and Valkyrie do Men in Black stuff, then I'm sure it's a fun time. But
then watch Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. Or Thor Love and Thunder coming soon. Oh god, I'm doing it again. I'm giving shout outs. Shit.
Yeah, stop giving shout outs. Stop giving fucking shout outs. So Men in Black, yeah. Agent J, charismatic, slightly cocky, alien killer.
It's like peak fun Will Smith era. He's fun, he's skilled, but he's not too skilled, so he's a relatable everyman. He cocks up and has to make amends. Yeah.
Now, I was wondering if you could help me out in this, because in the Men in Black series, he has an array of weaponry. And I was just wondering what sort of kind of weapons we can give him. Now, I feel we can give him the neuralizer.
Yes, although I'm not sure how effective that would be.
No, maybe not.
In this situation where they're not allowed to have any pre-existing memory, I'm not sure how much a memory wiper would... we could give him like the tiny gun, which has like the massive blast.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. So we'll give him the tiny gun. I'm happy to give him. Do you also remember like they had the big guns, which were like I don't know how to describe them other than like big laser guns. Yeah. From I think the first one. I think we can give him that.
Yeah. We can start him off with that one, and he can switch to the tiny gun when that one inevitably gets knocked out of his hand.
So we can have the tiny gun in his like back pocket.
Yeah.
As this starts with a big fuck off gun, and then he's got the neuralizer, he's got the shades.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What else does he have? There's got to be an array of... I mean, we can't kit him out with all the gadgets, because then he'll just win.
No. Well, I don't know.
Ooh,
there's a lot of hard competition. These are some of our weaker characters, I feel.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting.
So the better we can buff them, the better. Those seem to be from memory. Those seem to be the kind of weapons he kind of uses the most.
They're the most iconic ones.
Give him those weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like iconic weapons what we gift people. We can't gift them everything, otherwise, it becomes a bit. Yeah. But yeah, fantastic films.
That's certainly a ray.
What is the general consensus on the Men in Black films? Because obviously everyone likes the first one.
I don't know.
But I don't know if people hate or love the sequel. The third one, I have a feeling, is divisive. I don't think it's as popular as the first one.
I have a feeling that people don't like the third one. I didn't mind. Again, this is the thing. I was sort of an age where I was sort of. I liked them. I remember I used to get the first and second one from like the video shop back in the day, and then when the third one came out, we watched the third one. I enjoyed them all. I think watching... Because I did watch the third one when I was a little bit older, and I do remember it being a little bit... I don't know. Maybe not as strong. Maybe not as strong as like in the whole film. I think the first one's the best, and the first one I think is really good.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's really good fun time. I think the second one continues said fun time. Doesn't have Michael Jackson in, which is really weird. That's like, it had like loads of really weird cameos. I just think it was huge at the time. I think it was like really big for its time. And it sort of embodied the kind of 2000s kind of CGI, just called madness.
Oh yeah,
but I think at the end of the day, they're remembered as good, dumb, solid films. And it is one of those. I don't think this quantifies it being good per se. But if they said they were making a Men in Black like 5 with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, people would go crazy.
Oh yeah,
I think.
But it would have to be like they just have to call it Men in Black again. And the trailer would have like a slowed down dramatic version of the original theme. And then you'd have all the hero shots of someone picking up a pair of shades. And then and then like the new generation walks in and I can see the trailer now. I can see it in my mind's eye.
Did you hear that they were going to do like a crossover between Men in Black and 22 Jump Street?
Yes!
Or 21 Jump Street?
Yes, I did.
That would have been fun.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Because I really liked the Jump Street series when I was growing up. So...
I love the gag from the end of the second one where they go for like the 23, 24, 25 Jump Street.
And they do like a movie. And Jonah Hill leaves because of a contract dispute. That's quite funny.
So good. You don't get films with that sort of sense of humour that much anymore these days.
And I appreciate it. I appreciate it in my youth.
Yeah. But yeah, I think...
But yeah, no...
Men in Black is like sort of up there with like the 2 live action Scooby-Doos. It's like peak family friendly, like ITV tea time drama films you put on.
Dumb 2000s CGI fucking nonsense.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where like when you were growing up, if you put on ITV on a Saturday at like 6 o'clock, you're going to see either this, Scooby-Doo, or maybe a Harry Potter if it's like autumn, winter time. You're going to see one of those 3 films.
My favourite scene in the first Men in Black is when they're doing the shooting range and they're shooting all the aliens, and I still watch it sometimes because I really found that film that bit funny. And the guy in charge is like, "Why do you think poor Tiffany had to die?" Because Will Smith just like shoots a cardboard cutout of a girl like square in the temple, like a 10-year-old girl. And he's just like, well, I looked at this alien on the lamppost, and he looked like he was snarling, but no, he was just sneezing. And this one was a guy lifting up stuff. Oh, he's not trying to throw stuff; he's trying to lift weights. And I was just thinking about if I was in the gym and someone comes in and busts my ass.
Yeah.
And then he goes, but Tiffany, she's about 11 years old, walking home at night with quantum physics books. Those books are way too advanced for a girl like her. I think she's up to something. And I just found it really funny.
Just brilliant.
But it does sort of kind of sum up the logic in that film, because normally the aliens are in disguise.
Yes.
And the ones to watch out for are the kind of people being sneaky.
Albeit slightly unconvincing disguises, like the sort of steadily decomposing corpse.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Men in Black, good fun time.
I have a
feeling, watch it, actually.
Yeah, I have a feeling Men in Black may have like been a key foundling of like my general tastes, because I quite like obviously I love sci-fi. And I quite like sort of wacky, weird, experimentally sort of stuff, and I feel Men in Black is like a perfect wacky sci-fi sort of thing to like ease you into those sort of things. So yeah, I feel it sort of probably helped define my my tastes as an adult. But yeah, good film.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And a potentially powerful gladiator, because he's used to weird shit, He is
used to weird shit and just being like thrown into the thick of it and just having to, go full hog.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next competitor. Now, you said that we didn't want to make Agent J from Men in Black too OP.
Oh, no.
Well, next we have John Hancock from the film Hancock.
Yeah! I forgot this was a film.
Everyone forgets about it. But I remember, it's really strange, I've got like a really, really vivid memory of my dad taking me and my sister to the Odeon in the Metro Centre in Newcastle, which would probably newly open at the time, to watch Hancock.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't know why I remember that so vividly. But maybe it was just a good time.
Yeah. How old were you at the time? Because it's not a kid film, really.
No, well, this is the thing. My parents did not give a shit about rated things. If they could take me in and see it legally, they would have.
Fair enough.
They made me watch Halloween when I was like 5.
Oh.
And Jackass when I was 10. So Hancock came out in 2008, so I would have been 9 or 10.
Oh wow! Well, that's not terrible. Like, it's not like you're 6.
No. I don't think it's. This is the thing. I don't think it was like a 15. Well, it mustn't have been because I wouldn't have been let in to see it.
No.
It must have been like a 12. But in the film, he does do a lot of sort of like kind of cussing on a very sort of low level. He shoves a head up another man's ass.
Yeah. Isn't there? I may be imagining this. Isn't there a scene where he like jacks off and then has like super powered ejaculation? Or am I imagining that?
I don't remember that.
Maybe that's something from The Boys. I'm getting them confused or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, probably. That sounds like something from The Boys, which is coming out soon.
Yes, it is. Did you see the trailer?
I did. Yeah.
I kind of wish they hadn't given away.
Gave too much away.
Yeah, I kind of wish they hadn't given away certain plot developments. That would have been more interesting to wait for the show to actually see it.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Oopsie poopsie.
But yeah, I have really vague memories of Hancock, so you'll have to sort of help me out a little bit. I saw it once on Channel 5, like 12 years ago, it must have been. So I have like...
Do you remember what the plot is?
So he's a superhero. Well, he's got superpowers, but he's a bit of an asshole, so he sort of helps, but sort of doesn't. And then he meets this love interest who's like him, but the more time they spend together, the weaker either he becomes or they both become. I think it's probably both of them. Because they can't be like in proximity to each other, so he's got to balance out if he wants to be with her and be happy, or like be a hero, but he has to be on his own. It's sort of that's vaguely the plot, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, it's sort of it. I think the whole thing about his character is he is sort of kind of like a drunken alcoholic dickhead who sort of has superpowers, and he does like it sort of does this thing that ironically is sort of done in Bad Boys 2, where it's like he will sort of save the day, but at the cost of destroying half the city.
Yeah.
And therefore people don't like him. And I think a lot of the film is dedicated to him trying to be seen and looked upon as a superhero.
Yeah.
So there are scenes where, he's got to have a suit, he's got to get a costume and like become that traditional superhero. I do think it's quite interesting because this came before Man of Steel. And sort of in Hancock, I feel he's criticised because he's so chaotic and so destructive. And yet, in Man of Steel, I think Superman is more destructive, and nobody really seems to care.
So, Man of Steel is a Hancock remake, confirmed.
Yeah, basically.
Never mind, Zack Snyder's the blueprint. Who directed Hancock? They're clearly the blueprint.
Who did direct Hancock? Let's find out. Hancock. Directed by Peter Berg, someone who I've never heard of in my life.
Well, Peter Berg is the blueprint, everyone. Restore the Peter Berg verse. Peter Berg, Man of Steel. Peter Berg, Batman vs Superman. Peter Berg. I want to say the Peter Berg, Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's what I want to say.
So Zack Snyder isn't the real enemy, and we're wrong all along. And Zack Snyder's Justice League is a masterpiece of cinema.
He was a hero. I just couldn't see it.
Yeah, he was. Sometimes you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah.
A line from the best Batman film. Hancock. Famously, he got his name from a nurse asking him what his John Hancock was, and therefore he gave himself the name Hancock. And yeah, he's got what superpowers does he have? He's basically Superman.
He's basically indestructible, isn't he?
He's indestructible, flight, super speed, super strength. He shoves a head up a man's ass.
Does he have laser eyes?
I don't recall him having laser eyes.
No, I can't remember having laser eyes. I remember basically being like sort of durable, strong, and sort of speedy. Basically, what I remember his power set being. So, once again, we have a competitor who basically is just going to win.
Well, I did think about this, and yes, I do have one thing up my sleeve. which
Right.
can maybe help neutralise said threat.
If someone were to shove a gun up his arse and pull the trigger, would that damage Hancock? Is he vulnerable from the inside? Is that a thing?
I don't know. But maybe if somebody, wished that he wasn't as OP, then, there'd be a way for him to be debuffed.
Interesting.
Dr. Robert Neville was the character Will Smith played in the film I Am Legend.
Yes, he was. And there is a sequel to I Am Legend, I believe, confirmed now.
Is there?
Yeah, they've confirmed.
Oh, right, it's not going to be made, not like already out.
No, not released yet, but I think they've confirmed it, and I saw an article which was like, oh, okay, so this basically means the alternate ending is now the canon one, because in order for it to exist, the theatrical ending can't be how it ends, because, that's just the end of the story.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Will Smith dies at the end of the film.
But, I think he deserves it because he kills his dog. So he deserves it.
He does kill his dog. And this is the thing. I'm sort of willing to break. I know I've been quite anal about decision making, but I feel that Will Smith's dog in this film is essentially sort of like a weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give Dr. Robert Neville his dog, as well as sort of a machine gun and blood that cannot be infected by sort of zombie vampires.
Okay. I mean, if we set the battleground on his house at the end, he's also got a shit ton of booby traps to use against everyone else.
He does have a shit ton of booby traps. But yeah, so this is a film about essentially the last man in the world. And he's trying to, find a cure to a vampiric zombie disease, all the while defending himself from vampiric zombies. Yeah,
it's a weird one. It's sort of like zombies crossed with vampires, because they're coded like zombies. They have, they spread an infection and everything, but they are vampires. So it's an interesting one.
They live in the darkness. It's a good film. I think I watched this scene after it came out, which again says a lot about my upbringing.
Yeah, a very scarred upbringing.
Good solid film. Again, Will Smith having a machine gun, and I think an attack dog. I think we can give him an attack dog.
Yeah, I feel this is almost sort of a transitional role for Will Smith in a way, because he's not fully sort of dad's mode serious yet, but he's definitely not the sort of full-on haha woo Will Smith noises charismatic Will Smith either. He's sort of it's a good midway though. It's a performance which I think works good to watch. Although I think anyone would be depressed in this world, not just because the world has ended, but because one of the last films before this zombie vampire outbreak was, if you look at the posters, Batman vs Superman. That was one of the final films in this world before it ended. Yeah, there's a little, it's a Superman logo overlaid on the Batman logo, sort of on one of the billboard things, which is a little Easter egg you can spot. But yeah, that was one of the last films available before the world ended. So no wonder he's so depressed. I'd be depressed.
Good. I do remember watching this film quite young. And I think the zombie vampire outbreak starts because they find a cure to cancer, which ends up having terrible side effects. And I do remember at that age being really terrified that if we did find a cure to cancer, that it would just sort of, destroy the world and make us all into zombie vampires.
It's, swings and roundabouts, You can cure a horrible, incurable illness, but you're also going to end the world with a worse contagion. So, you got to...
These zombie vampiric cannibalistic mutants are known as dark seekers in the film, and they're vulnerable to sunlight.
Interesting.
Just to update us there on our jargon.
Why did they never make a tie-in game for this film? Because thinking about it, it's got a lot of games like Days Gone is very similar to this. You're sort of basically on your own on a bike. There are these hordes of zombies who like the darkness. It's basically this, but
it is. It would have made a good game, I suppose.
Yeah.
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 Interesting thoughts.
Before we move on, since I mentioned Batman vs Superman, I'll go on the record here. I don't think Zack Snyder's Justice League is completely awful. I don't think it's fantastic, but I don't think it's completely awful. I think it's all right. I only bring this up because I've dunked on him quite a bit, and I want to level the playing field a bit, I don't think it's awful.
If I had 2 attempts at a film, basically a list of notes from a fandom saying what they want.
Well, yeah.
And, more budget to give them what they want. 4 hours and an inability to cut down a film that would, be able to have a theatrical release. Yeah, I think, it is better.
Yeah, there are a number of extenuating circumstances, but, it's not terrible.
No. But you do have great source material.
Yes.
And I think not terrible is not an acceptable standard.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go on record to say I don't think, and there's no disrespect, I just don't think he's made a film that I've really enjoyed above a 5 out of 10.
I think he'd be...
And he's had great source material.
Yeah. I think he'd be a really good, director of photography or a cinematographer, something like that. Zack Snyder is great at making these really cool looking images, but the storytelling's where he falls down flat a lot of the time. That's
the thing. I think for me, who's more into writing and the story side of it and the structure side of it and the character side of it, he does seem to sort of prioritize visuals and making things look pretty as opposed to give you hearty, compelling drama.
Yeah.
And for me, that doesn't work, and clearly for the mass populace who care about storytelling, it doesn't particularly work.
No.
Pour mon opinion.
Great visuals, but storytelling isn't fantastic, basically. There are some great bits, though, the Flash bit at the end of Snyder Cut, that's a fantastic scene, and there's the Batman fight scene in Batman vs Superman, that's really cool, although Batman does kill everyone, so that's not great. But
again, though, the strengths of these scenes are visual.
Yeah.
And I remember Barry's talking to himself and hyping himself up throughout the entire 4-hour runtime. I think we've barely had any sort of development that he's been scared to do what he's doing, or do we even know if he knows what he's about to do? Is it the first time he's about to do it? I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was better than the original Justice League, but
except for
there's
one
still
scene.
An incredible amount of errors, and there's quite offensive, I think, shots. To be honest, that I hoped
the butt shots
he didn't film, but apparently he did. Yeah, essentially, which
shots.
I think is borderline offensive. And no, I don't feel the need to really praise his work when his work is not praiseworthy.
No, fair enough.
Although I respect that he's put a lot of effort and a lot of hours into this.
Yes.
But I personally do not like them.
Fair enough. There is one scene in the Justice League that I prefer. Just one. And it's Superman's entrance at the end. I much prefer... Because Zack Snyder's got the whole not impressed and then Murder Man activate mode. But in the Justice League version, it's way more Superman-like, because Steppenwolf's going, you have defiled truth! And then Superman goes, I'm a big fan of truth, but I prefer justice. And then that's, peak Superman line. Corny, but also wholesome. Just, brilliant. That's the one bit I prefer.
Fair enough. They needed to do more with Granny Goodness.
Yes.
It would have been a lot better if they did more with Granny Goodness.
Absolutely.
Basically, fuck all. So, Will Smith and I Am Legend gets a machine gun.
I really hope there's a segue here. There's Will Smith on a Zack Snyder film.
Well, moving on to other terrible DC films.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, of course. Yes, perfect segue.
In Suicide Squad. You know what, Dan? I'm going to let you take this one, because you know a lot about DC and Suicide Squad, more than I guess I ever could.
Oh.
So can you tell us a lot about Deadshot?
Well...
the Suicide Squad. Oh, are we some kind of Suicide Squad?
Oh,
are we a kind of Suicide Squad?
I think we are. The amount of these shit films we watch, we are a kind of Suicide Squad. God, this film. Firstly, hashtag release the David haircut. No, please don't. Well,
really?
I don't know. That's the new cool trend online. We had the Snyder cut. Now everyone wants the David haircut. Although having seen the concept art for the David haircut, I'll leave it. Thanks. If you thought
it, I do not care for it.
If you thought Jared Leto's Joker was bad, he can get worse somehow. Believe me. Somehow the concept art he looks even worse.
I'm excited to Google this.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. You know, I'm not sure how much of David Ayer's work I've seen, but Suicide Squad, not your finest hour. Even if you have made even worse films, it's just oh god.
David Ayer was in the military.
Oh, was he?
That's interesting. Oh my god, he did the screenplay for Training Day.
Oh shit. God. Fair play. Well, there you go, David Ayer. Definitely not your finest hour, Suicide Squad. What are you thinking, man?
No. Training Day is awesome.
Yeah. So whilst you look at this concept art, let's run through Suicide Squad. So, Will Smith, Deadshot, Master Marksman. If you've played the Arkham games, Deadshot is also in those. It's like a side quest. Basically, he's like the ultimate sniper, but also at close range. He can like hit anything. And he can turn anything into a weapon too. Like he can like turn a pencil into like a deadly spear or shit, like by just throwing it really well. So basically, super good at shooting and throwing shit. That's his whole deal. The film Suicide Squad. It's very clear they wanted to do the Guardians of the Galaxy, but without James Gunn, who is essential to Guardians of the Galaxy working as a film series, which is why. The Suicide Squad, they got James Gunn to do it because, you know, he's the guy. It's just not good. It's just not good. It fails on so many like fundamental levels. Even like small shit like Captain Boomerang. He's got like this. He's got like a pony, hasn't he? He's got this stuffed unicorn thing, and it's classic.
He does the Deadpool joke.
Yeah, it's this classic rule of three. Like he picks it up, puts it in his pocket. Picks up again, puts it in his pocket because he gets knocked out during a fight scene, and then the third time you think, oh, he's going to get shot in the chest, but the unicorn is going to stop the bullet or whatever. But no, he gets shot in the exact same place, but he pulls out like a random book which stops the bullet instead. It's like, what? This is just fundamentals of filmmaking failing on here. What are you doing?
There was no. They set up a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
But then the gun they fired was a completely different gun.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the Joker concept art. I don't know which one's which and which one's real. There's a picture of Jared Leto essentially pulling off his best David Bowie impression.
Oh, it's like it's basically the Joker we got, but like dialed up to 11. Like if the Joker we got was like a 5, imagine that, but dialed up to 11. It's even more sort of weird pimp aesthetic. That's what I've seen in the concept art. He's got like a giant. One of him. He's got like a giant drawn-on smile, but like that doesn't match his lips at all. It's not like classic Joker where it's all like meant to look like his giant lips. It's like drawn around his lips, but you can see that it's not his lips. And it's just weird.
Interesting. There's some of him just in like a normal like purple business suit, and he's just essentially wearing red lipstick and got green hair.
I mean, that's better, I guess, marginally than what we got.
I don't know. He just sort of looks like a guy. He looks like a man who's just got red lipstick on.
I'll take it over pimp
Actually,
Joker.
Looking at real shots of him in the film, that is essentially just him. He is just a man with red lipstick. Oh no! I found it.
Oh yeah, with the weird drawn-on mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like deliberately missed his mouth.
Yeah. I think it's somehow worse, and
it's not great. Oh, his eyebrows have ha.
Yes, like, they do. I forgot that was a detail.
It's just
I blotted that out of my memory because it was so horrible.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You gotta respect the hustle, respect the balls, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it does not make it a great film. There's like 40 minutes of Joker deleted scenes. Apparently, they cut from the film because obviously they made a big deal about him. It's an interesting thing. Yeah. I don't want to play the game of like, oh, I saw this coming. How did the rest of society not get this? But I don't know why. But from the trailer, I just knew Joker was going to be in it for all of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was released, everyone was really upset that he was like barely in it, and like people thought he was going to be like one of the main characters. He was going to be like the main villain or something.
Yeah.
And I think that is what they set up in the trailers. But I was just like, of course they're not. I don't know. I weirdly just sort of knew that the Joker was barely going to be in it. I guess because in the trailer, he definitely comes across as kind of like not part of the squad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And maybe I thought that, this world's going to focus on the squad, and he's just like someone who tags along.
Yeah.
And someone who tags along isn't going to have that much screen time. Maybe that was my logic, but yeah, I don't know. It's a film I saw once in 4DX.
Oh my god.
And yeah, with my parents as well. Imagine my parents watching this. I actually don't think they minded it.
Yeah, I can see them really sort of liking it. I can see them having like a weird sort of like taste for not great films.
I think it's well, there's an element of truth to that in my opinion. But no, actually no. I don't think they liked it, but I don't know, it's interesting because I do think when you're older, not to say that my parents are old, but when you are sort of older and you haven't grown up with like amazing special effects, like the special effects they grew up with, was, John Pertwee, Doctor Who, maybe something that is kind of bright and flashy, and they don't like see these, they don't watch every Marvel film. They've seen a couple, so maybe to maybe older demographic, it will be more visually interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I would say growing up with Pertwee Doctor Who would give you the most fine of tastes. It would make you expect a buffet from everything you watch.
The spaghetti suits. I remember the spaghetti monsters.
Oh, the axons. Oh. Yeah. And then you paint them green to make them the crinoids for Tom Baker later on, which are like big plant monsters. Fantastic.
I feel it's been a while since we've brought up Doctor Who in a podcast.
It has. We've not really touched on that much.
The fans have been missing it.
Yeah. We've been sort of diversifying too much. We need to bring it back to our roots.
Yeah. So tell us about Deadshot. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
He does have a daughter, which could be used in Ransom.
He's basically Idris Elba's character in The Suicide Squad, but not as interesting because,
Oh, yeah.
It's not even being facetious. Literally, his character was meant to be Will Smith's character recast, and then at the last minute they were like, actually, shall we save it in case Will Smith wants to come back at some point? So that's when they changed it to being Bloodsport instead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's incredibly good with weapons. How many weapons does he have? How many weapons can we give him, I suppose?
So he's got like the guns on his arms. He's got like little handguns strapped to his arms, basically. He's normally got like a sniper rifle. I don't remember if he has one in the film, but he's got one in the Arkham games, so we'll give it to him.
He does use it in the film, I think, at the start of his intro.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah. That's basically, he can pick up anything and make it into a weapon. That's like one of his powers. He can he can pick up a stick and turn it into like an expert dagger by how he throws it and shit. So, depending on where the battle takes place, he could basically have many weapons. Did you know? That's what I was going to say a minute ago. Did you know, talking about like the deleted scenes, did you know what happened with all that behind the scenes?
No.
So, obviously they released the early trailers, which were much more sort of like dark and sort of somber. And then the trailer came out at Comic-Con, which was the really cool Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, which is edited spectacularly and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And after that came out, sort of everyone thought, oh, okay, is it going to be like a really sort of fun sort of film? And everyone loved the trailer. So what Warner Brothers, I believe it was, did is they went, oh, okay, trailer company who did this trailer, can you edit the film for us? So they got a trailer company to edit the entire film, which is why I think it's got so many weird editing choices, because it's very oddly edited for a film.
That would sort of make sense, though, and I wouldn't particularly blame them, just because I imagine the editing style of a trailer is so different to the editing of a film.
Oh yeah.
So of course it's going to be a lot different, and it's going to,
Oh yeah, they did what they're
interesting.
Yeah.
They do what they've known to do.
Yeah, they did what they're good at. They did
with something that they didn't,
Yeah, and it wasn't their fault. I can see Warner Brothers' logic, I guess, but it really wasn't a good choice at all. Because trailer companies do trailers, not films. It's literally in the fucking whatever. Yeah.
Did you also know that the running time of this film is 123 minutes. 23 minutes, which, I don't know, I enjoy. It's probably the thing I enjoy the most about this film, actually. Officially.
2 hours and 3 minutes, precisely.
Yeah. Well, it's 123 minutes.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
And that's the best part about Suicide Squad.
Oh,
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I think there's not much more we can say. Doesn't he get together with Harley Quinn, or like they were going to get together? So he's got womanizing powers to womanize Harley Quinn.
Doesn't every Will Smith character, though? I feel every Will Smith character does.
Yeah,
maybe except Hancock.
That's true.
Moving on.
Yes.
We have got the genie from Aladdin. Essentially the only hope at stopping a superhero character.
Yes. Essentially.
Essentially.
Although I guess Deadshot could pull off some amazing trick shot to get like some explosive into Hancock's
to get
ass.
a bullet up his ass.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose so. Maybe. He defies physics in the film he's in, so yeah, sure, why not?
You know who my favourite character in that film was? Slipknot. R.I.P. Slipknot.
The guy's in it for all of 2 minutes.
The one who just...
And he punched a woman.
Oh, yeah. The one who you just know they're going to kill because all they're going to get like an intro card and then he doesn't, and that he's supposed to still be part of the squad, and you're like, right, he's going to die instantly. And oh yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
But
the genie from Aladdin.
Yes.
Have you seen any of the Aladdinses?
I have seen both of the Aladdinses.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Fantabulous.
I wouldn't call myself an expert on them, but I have seen both of them, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about the genie is... Okay, let's go through this. How do we go through the plot? Because it is a little bit of a complex plot, in a sense. That you rub the lamp, genie comes out. Yeah. Genie grants you 3 wishes. Although one of those wishes... Isn't it like he wants you to set him free with the last wish?
Yeah, so Aladdin promises...
So essentially you've got 2 wishes.
Yeah, Aladdin promises that... Because no one ever does normally, but Aladdin promises that he will use his final wish to set the genie free. Because Aladdin's a nice boy. But then it looks like he's not going to do that because the power takes over him and he becomes selfish and wants to impress Jasmine too much. And then obviously...
Yes, for 5 minutes. And then...
yeah.
And then Jafar. I love Jafar, man.
Oh,
and his little
parrot
Iago.
Yeah. Does Iago still talk in live action when I forget? Because I know he does, obviously, in the original, but I can't remember if he talks in the new one. I hope he does. Because, you know.
Who knows?
My favourite thing about the live action Aladdin, my favourite thing is how Jasmine gets a whole new song about, I will not be silenced. I will, say my piece. I will not be silenced. Except the entire song takes place in her head, cut to the real world again, and she says nothing. None of this song takes place, it's all in her head, and yet it's about not being silenced. So that's just hilariously unthought out.
Yeah, there is some sort of irony in that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was Michael Bay. Michael Bay wrote her part.
Oh, God. Maybe.
Just because, yeah. What was I going to say? So, the genie. Yes, the genie, he gives you 3 wishes. My thing with the genie, though, because obviously he has powers. He can sort of shapeshift. He can sort of travel really fast. Very charismatic. But does he have sort of any... He can interact with matter in the real world.
Yes.
But does he have any sort of powers other than those that aren't just granting wishes?
Well, it depends if
you understand what I mean.
If he's free or not, because do we have to put Aladdin in with him to give him his powers, or is he free?
Well, this is the thing, and I've got an idea for this, but I feel he's got to be the genie that is in the most of the film. So he's in he's the blue. He's the blue guy who's not free. I mean, who needs giving wishes.
Yeah. When he's free, doesn't he lose his powers as well anyway? I'm pretty sure
quite possibly,
that's part of the deal, isn't it?
I don't think we should do not free genie.
No.
We should give him genie who can give wishes. But he can't, I don't know, he can't... Because it's the thing, if he could, have all these powers, surely he would have, solved the Jafar crisis by himself. He wouldn't need 3. So I feel he can shapeshift, he can move quickly...
But there are set rules, aren't there? You can't make anyone fall in love with you. You can't wish for more wishes. And I'm pretty sure he's not allowed to, kill anyone. I think, or that's probably just a Disney rule generally.
No, he's not allowed to bring anyone back from the dead, is it, or something like that?
That's probably it. Yeah, but I know the first two. He definitely can't make anyone love you, and you can't wish for more wishes. Those are definite.
But what are the genie's powers without an Aladdin?
Without an Aladdin, he's just a lamp.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, let's presume that the lamp has been rubbed and he's out. Right. He's sort of wandering.
Okay.
What can he do without an Aladdin?
So, our godlike powers, we've rubbed the lamp, but he said, right.
Can he kill a man? Do we reckon the genie can kill someone without...
Because I can't remember it being an explicit rule in the film, I'm going to say, yeah, he probably can. Because he banishes people and shit, so he can probably he can harm you. So I imagine he can probably kill you. He turns people into animals and shit. So
this sort of doesn't matter because I have come up with a very clever, I think it's quite clever, way around all of this.
Okay, so I think the first we have to make some caveats anyway, because in order for this to work, we have to say, right, you've been rubbed and you're free to do all 3 wishes at once. Normally you have to rub it each individual time. So our caveat we have to say, right, you can just do all your powers in one go.
Well, he can't give anyone wishes.
No.
Well, maybe he can. He can give someone wishes, but that's a discussion that would have to happen within the Battle Royale. I suppose.
He can give 3 wishes to individual fighters, I think. I don't think because he can't grant anyone any extra wishes, but...
I've got an idea, so maybe it's not worth convoluting this and making this confusing.
Okay.
Because I do have an idea.
What's your idea? What's your workaround?
So, in Aladdin, Aladdin is very young.
Yes.
He's very charismatic. He's very funny. He's very agile. He's very humorous. He's young and optimistic, but obviously he needs to learn about the rules of the world. And that sort of character attracts the genie, and that's what that's the relationship the genie is familiar with having. It's a similar character to the character of Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So,
right.
Does Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air get given a lamp? And we sort of team up the genie and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Now, is the Fresh Prince his own gladiator, or is he specifically?
Yes, I've got him on the list.
Okay. I would be down to pair these two.
We can have Will Smith just as a kind of vulnerable human child who's essentially going to get murdered straight away, or we can give him a lamp and team him up with the genie. Because I feel as the Aladdin proves. They're going to get on well. They're going to have a good relationship. They're going to bounce off each other quite favourably.
Yeah. Okay, I'm down for this. Yeah, I think it's it's going to get interesting when it comes to if these two have to fight each other. But that's a eventual cost when we get to it.
Oh shit! Yeah. We'll think about that. We'll think about it when it comes to it. So speaking of. I watched a few episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Did you watch it when you were growing up, or...?
No, I did. This is the thing, I think I missed it, just because... Well, I'm not sure, because it's an American show.
Yeah.
American shows, when I was growing up, were TV and no streaming services or internet, barely.
Yeah.
It was very rare you'd got American TV shows. You only got American TV shows, maybe, a rare show like Scooby-Doo would be on CBBC, and then you'd have to tune in on BBC Two on Saturday mornings.
Yeah. If
you wanted to watch American TV, so it was very hard to come by.
Your best bet, really, for stuff like Fresh Prince was always Channel 4, wasn't it? Sort of Channel 4 early mornings and late nights. Cause...
Yeah, and I guess I just missed it, I suppose. And also, I think it came out after. I was a bit too young for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know when it came out actually. I'll Google this. Have you seen The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
I have not. No, I was very similar to you. Yeah. I always passed you by because it was never really something that was easy access.
I think we might have missed it. We were just a little bit too young and we just sort of missed it.
Yeah, It's very
I think that's
90s,
what it is.
and we're sort of end of the 90s. You know, we're sort of 98.
Yeah, exactly. We were the tail end of the 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ran from 1990 to 1996. So
Yeah.
we probably we missed it. Odds on. But saying that, it was on BBC iPlayer. I watched a couple of episodes, and I really fucking enjoyed it.
Okay.
I sort of wish we grew up like we were the right age for it and like watched it when we were growing up, because it's really funny. It's because I don't know, I like to laugh, but normally that sounds so dumb. But like when I don't know, when I watch like funny programs, I never like laugh out loud. I always just sort of like acknowledge within my own consciousness that that was funny.
It's always like the slight sort of like exhale of breath from your nose.
Yeah,
that's
the
generally all
little
you
chuckle
get.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched it, and there were many times. I watched 3 episodes. I think 3 or 4, and what was I saying? I watched about 3 or 4 episodes, and I just caught myself actively like laughing out loud a number of times. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was quite obviously, because I'm a a white man from England. It's not necessary. It's not a show that I'm meant to directly find relatable.
Yeah.
But it had some really good themes in there. It was written with a lot of heart, and I think that was the interesting thing. The idea that you don't essentially need to sort of relate massively with these characters, as long as something's written with heart.
Yeah.
You can always find that relation there. And I found it very interesting, because it made me think that if something's written well, you will always just like it, and I really liked it. I found it really funny. I thought it really kind of thematic and at points, and yeah, had a really fun time. And I would probably continue watching it. I actually really enjoyed it, and I sort of like want to watch more of it in my spare time. I thought the episodes are fairly simplistic and formulaic, but it's a sitcom, like not as a diss, but just like as a sitcom. Plot lines are the sitcom plotline.
Oh yeah, inherently they're meant to be like simple and not too
I liked it.
I might check it out then if it's on iPlayer. Yeah, it's
It is on iPlayer, and I found it I thought it quite funny. It's got that little bit like dated as the 90s, but it's not like bad. It's harmless. It's like it's how I view Psycho. Like you watch scenes in Psycho and you gotta go, okay, yeah, it is dated, but it's not like a problem. Like, it's not when I watch it, I don't go, oh, I'm completely taken out of the film. This is such a bad thing. This is such a awful thing. I'm just like, oh wow, that's a charming bit of kind of classic filmmaking.
Yeah, it's all part of the context. You've got to view it through a certain window.
And there are films, and there is a film we'll get to, which has really bad effects.
Oh no!
That sort of I view in the sort of alternate sense, which is just like, oh, this does take me out of film.
Oh
no. I also learned from my viewing of Will Smith experiences that the reason classics are classic, because we talked about The Godfather recently.
Yes.
And I think the reason I love stuff like The Godfather and Psycho. Psycho's one of my favourite films. It's probably my top 5. The reason why Psycho and Godfather are so good, because there's always these ideas of recency bias, and there's ideas of what's it called, nostalgia bias or whatever. And I think there's angles in both of them, and there's truth to both of them. But the thing with The Godfather and Psycho is that not only are they just really good, really well made films that are classics in their own right.
Yeah.
There's something so praiseworthy that they're actually still amazing 50 to 60 years after they've come out.
Yeah.
And I sort of learned this watching Will Smith, and it's the film we'll get onto next, where there's films that are like 10 years old, and you watch them back. There are probably MCU films, although MCU films are quite well made in fairness, that you look back and go, oh, that's dodgy, oh, that doesn't hold up as well, this isn't as good. And of course the filmmaking of Psycho and The Godfather is old, but you watch them and they're still really fucking good. And it's like it just watching some of these films back made me appreciate just how good some real classic films are.
Yeah.
And just standing the test of time. And still, okay, there are old stuff, and there are stuff in The Godfather, like when they have a fight scene and you can see them obviously like not hitting each other. But I don't see those as negative. I mean, it is true, and you got to say that is sort of true. You do see it, but I find it so much more charming, and I don't know why, but it just made me appreciate real like classic cinema and the real greats so much more.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Sort of, go back to our Doctor Who discussion. I think. If the quality of the work,
I think it's the same with Doctor Who.
Yeah, if the quality of the writing and the quality of the acting and stuff is of a good enough standard, then you sort of forgive the slightly dodgy effects.
You bypass it, and I think you also enjoy it in a sort of kind of, I don't want to say humorous way because I feel like that kind of devalues what I'm trying to say. I think you sort of appreciate it in a sense of, oh, this is the best they could do with their time.
Yeah,
this is how they were doing it in their time. Whereas other films,
it's a charm.
Which aren't as good, I feel maybe don't have that charm. Maybe feel like, I don't know. It just gave me a new appreciation of some classic cinema, which does have flaws, but also they still work. That's the important thing. They still work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think it really needs to be appreciated that a film that's 60 years old works.
I think the best example of effects holding up of all time, I think, is Jurassic Park. That still looks better than some films that come out today.
And I guess I predict in 30 years it still will. And that's the thing. Jurassic Park, and when Jurassic World is 40 years old and Jurassic Park is 60 years old, people will really love Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And maybe people won't Jurassic World. Or, maybe that's a bad example because I quite enjoy Jurassic World. But, you know what I sort of mean there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer the sequel to Jurassic World, weirdly. I think the second one, I just found it slightly more interesting because it was slightly more different than...
Oh, God, I thought Jurassic World was shit. The second one.
See, the first Jurassic World I thought was fun, but annoying. it was just Jurassic Park again. At least Jurassic World 2 was sort of a bit different, which I appreciated. Not that it's a good film.
I'll finalise the point about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then I'll make my point about Jurassic World because it's a very good segue, and I'll tell you how this is a good segue.
Interesting.
So, Will Smith's character in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's essentially a teenage guy. He's very charismatic. I'd say he's quite intelligent in the sense that he's aware of his environment. He's aware of his surroundings. He's aware of he's conscious of his upbringing. He's got street smarts and stuff like that. I think like in terms of like high school tests. But that's sort of the fun of him, and like that's the thing. It's funny because it's all about this guy who's quite, I guess, working class in the sense, or quite, he's not rich, he's not wealthy, and he's your typical kind of teenager who's outlandish, but charismatic, and he sort of goes to live with these very rich upper class people, and he essentially kind of like turns their lives upside down because of his views, and it's just really fun. And that's sort of the crux of how the situational comedy comes in.
Yeah. Does he come into like a great degree of wealth? Isn't that like sort of part of the plot? Like he sort of inherits like this huge amount of money. Does that help him at all as a fighter?
He moves in with his like his extended family,
right? And
they're rich, and that's why the sort of conflict and the sort of the allowance of situational comedy comes in when because he is a kind of youthful kind of he comes into this world where you've got to act posh, you've got to dress him by sir, you've got to view those very traditional like rich people standards, and it's the conflict between being someone being very charismatic and having his new style and being like quite rebellious in a world where you've got to be very kind of prim and proper. And it's really fun. I enjoy it.
It's also this, and I believe there's like some real like big hard-hitting moments at times too. Like
there is
obviously the famous "Why don't he love me, man?" or whatever the line is. And then there's
I haven't gotten to those episodes yet.
Okay. Doesn't he get profiled at one point as well? Because there is like a very strong like...
Probably, I imagine so. Because this is the thing, like, and this is what I mean when it's like written about heart. It is a funny show, and I think it should remember that it is a funny show, and that the comedy is sort of primary. I haven't got to any of the heavy episodes yet, but there's always this sort of kind of this kind of subtlety. There's always this idea that these things are happening, and these kind of sad things are happening sort of in the background. Like he's a big fan of like Malcolm X and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
And they do talk about what it is to be a black person in America. Yeah. And in a time in America where it was more racist than it was now.
Yes.
And That again, I think that's another interesting part about, because the family he moves in it are a rich black family, and I tell you why it's really good, because you sort of completely understand why Will Smith is rebellious, because you want to be expressive, you want to be, I think it's important that a person, explores who they are and, finds their identity, and that's something that you completely relate to as well. But then you have his uncle, who is constantly sort of like, well, I'm a black man who's now rich. I've worked so hard, harder than, maybe than, harder than white people, for example, to get to where I am now. I'm really rich. I'm, really successful. I have made this life, and I've made all of this happen because of how hard I've worked and how I've kind of battled against these hardships. And that's why he's sort of against Will's rebelliousness. And again, and this is the thing, it's underlined, it's a comedy and it's funny.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's important to remember that it is funny. But you do have those two completely different angles.
Yeah.
Combating each other, and of course they combat each other in like a loving way. It's not like they're like having fist fights or anything. But that's why you can tell it's full of heart, and it's really interesting. I think it's quite educational in that sense, to kind of have like two completely contrasting opinions and views on the world.
Yeah.
But understanding both of them, that's just what makes good writing and good drama. And then it's also funny. And it's primarily funny.
I think,
it's got really good ideas like that, and it's funny.
I think particularly in the 90s as well, at the time, the climate, like you said, it was way more racist than it is now, although obviously there is still a problem. But I think it's really important, because sitcoms inherently, they become part of like the furniture in a way. They're on every day, a lot of the time, in some form, and put them on and you watch it with your tea. So for something like that, which becomes part of everyday life, to then sort of give you this education of these are what these perspectives are like, and this is what black people are currently dealing with at this time, and sort of put that in your face when it's such a part of your life for most people. I think it's really important and really good that it did that, because in its own small way, I would hope it sort of helped change some attitudes, because if you see if this thing that you're used to being part of your life suddenly tells you, hey, look at this racial profiling going on, or hey, look at this injustice being done, one would hope it changes your outlook slightly. And
I do think it is important that it's a comedy as well, because I think the jesters, the idea of the jester being the one who can really tell you how reality is, and I think because it is all this like really heavy stuff is laced within being a funny show. I think it allows, I don't know, I guess it allows those kind of hard-hitting things to be more hard-hitting and be more potent and entertaining.
It's like the Trojan political message. Does well.
Exactly, it sort of is in a sense, You are sort of taken in by the comedy, and then you get hit. And you love these characters. This is a thing, and this is something I learned quite early on with writing. If you want to make an audience love a character, make them sort of, what is it? You sort of have the character make the audience laugh. Not in the sense that they have to be funny, but in the sense that they have to be in a humiliating situation, or they have to be in a situation like, if you want an audience to like a character, they have to be able to laugh at them, or it's some idea like that. And again, that's why comedy really works, because every time you laugh at these characters, you get more invested in them. It's like every laugh, you're sort of pulled in, and the more you care about a character, when something hard-hitting and sad and shameful or whatever does happen, it really hits you that much more. And that's why, it's a really strong show, and that's why it's written with heart, and that's why someone like me, who essentially has sort of no experience of any of these characters, just being on the opposite side of the world, being a different race, that's why you can still enjoy it, because it's full of heart, and you can just feel the heart. It's a really interesting thing. You can just sort of feel it within the scenes, even if the scenes are sort of just pure comedy. You can feel it. That's and good. I like it. It was a good show, and I'm going to continue watching it, because I did genuinely enjoy it.
I think it's sadly a bit of a lost art in a way, because I believe there's a reboot of Fresh Prince currently airing, because it got some flack for doing something political. I haven't seen the episode, so I can't comment on like if it was subtle, if it was in your face or what. But I think no matter what, no matter how you try to do anything remotely like that these days, sadly there's a whole sect of like online culture which the moment a woman even appears or the moment a black person even appears in anything, suddenly you get all these people screaming, "Oh, you made it political." Like I don't know if you saw for the Obi-Wan show the trailer dropped recently, but
the Obi-Wan trailer.
One of the main bad guys, one of the Inquisitors, is a black woman, and immediately, well, there's that guy as well, but one of the other ones is a black woman, and immediately there was people online going, "Oh, you made it political, well done." It's like, no, she's just a character in a show. Her very appearance doesn't make it political, and it's really sad that people have lost, like, you know, the ability to sort of view art in a more nuanced way, and not even a nuanced way. The fact that sadly there are a bunch of people who are just dickheads.
Everyone's allowed to be more critical, and like, what are we doing? We're making a podcast where we're criticizing work. I just think with the internet and with social media and people being able to sort of have their say very publicly, you do, you know, it's a way that people get to say their opinions more.
I mean, you know, criticism is good.
And sometimes it's good because you get great podcasting like this.
Indeed.
And sometimes it's bad because you get someone who maybe doesn't think before they speak.
The other side, of course, is fantastic, entertaining podcasting like this, like you said. So, what was your Jurassic Park point? Or your Jurassic World point?
Yeah, my Jurassic... Well, the original... Okay, my Jurassic World point is that... So the first Jurassic Park is all about how humans shouldn't meddle with nature.
Yes.
The whole principle is, you know, we were too focused on whether we could, we didn't think about whether we should. And it's the thing that dinosaurs... We shouldn't bring dinosaurs back into existence. You know, we shouldn't mess with it. We should just let nature take its course and move on. Fast forward to the second Jurassic World, all our protagonists are, we should save the dinosaurs. We should interact with the we should actively do something, and again prevent nature from extincting the dinosaurs again. Like the motivation for every character in the second Jurassic World film is opposed to the original motivations of the original film, which is very fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
And I think it's a sign that it's a sign that I think maybe the writers didn't really understand the first one too much, because in the next one that's going to come out soon, they're all going to team up, and yet they've got completely different ideologies. And the heroes from Jurassic World 2 have the same moral values as the villains from the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand it, and that annoys me. Another thing that annoys me, and if you're a football fan, it will annoy you. They sell a dinosaur for about £6 million. In the world of football, that would get you maybe a championship level midfielder. Like, it wouldn't even get you a Premier League football. Like a Premier League proven footballer may cost you about anywhere between 10 and 80 million pounds for a person, a player, a footballer.
Yeah.
How the fuck is a dinosaur only worth 6 million?
Yeah.
These dinosaurs should be worth like 100 million each. Like, and those are like the shit ones. The Dryasauruses are meant to be like 100 million each. The T-Rex should be like 500 million or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that a Newcastle player is worth more than a fucking dinosaur baffles me.
On the first point, so I have two counterpoints. On the first point, Jeff Goldblum, who is in the second Jurassic World, does say that, oh no, you should let the dinosaurs die on this island. That's because he's in court and he's like, oh, let them all die.
Because that's what he believes in the first Jurassic Park.
So they haven't forgotten that. So I would hope maybe in the new one that's touched on again and they have some conflict between the sort of two generations.
Why as an audience should we root for the characters who are as villainous in their motivations as the villains from the first one?
I guess.
Why should we root for them?
I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, obviously their motivations sort of line up, but I wouldn't necessarily call it villainous. It's more. I can see how it's almost like an extension to the same moral quandary from the first one, where you shouldn't have made these in the first place. But now that you have made them, do we have the right to, kill them or let them die or
just let nature?
Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. On the second,
also they've got clone baby, they've got clone girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't like it.
On
I can understand the fun sort of horror mansion.
Yeah,
I guess that's fun, but.
On the second point with the pricing thing, to be fair, the first Jurassic World does say that the dinosaurs have been around for like 30 years in this world, and people are sort of bored of them. They're sort of like a regular old zoo animal. So I can see the price sort of being lower.
I've been bored of Newcastle for 15 years.
But can you sell Newcastle players for more than 6 million,
Yes.
Oh, fair enough.
It makes no sense. That's what I mean.
Would you rather have a team of Newcastle players or a team of dinosaurs?
Or just a T-Rex on the pitch? It's an interesting play.
I want what's his name? We've not talked about him for so long, I've forgotten his name. Newcastle manager. Oh, well,
So
Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce is the ex-Newcastle manager who got sacked.
Oh, well, I want to see Steve Bruce riding a T-Rex on the pitch for Newcastle's next game.
To be fair, so do I. I don't like Steve Bruce per se, but or his managerial tactics, I suppose. But. Anyway, do you know why this is an amazing segue, Dan?
Yes, why is this an amazing segue?
Because, as you say, Jeff Goldblum is in Jurassic World, just like he's in the film Independence Day, starring Will Smith as Captain Stephen Hiller. We connect these fucking things like absolute pros.
We do. So he's in a plane, yeah? We've got like a vehicle guy in a jet this time.
Yes, he's got a jet. Well, this is the thing, and I'll give you the choice. We can either put him in a jet, or we can put him in an alien jet, which he does drive for like half the film.
Which one is... one of my shocking confessions, I've not seen Independence Day. I know. No,
don't worry, you don't need to waste your time. The CGI is awful. It is Clone Wars level. Awful.
Oh, no. I mean, that's all what we were talking about with effects earlier, I guess. This is what you were hinting at.
Yeah. That was what I was watching that made me like really appreciate like Psycho. And granted, Psycho, they're not flying around in spaceships, but
I'll tell you what it is, and a lot of the time people boil it down to practical versus CGI. I don't think it's necessarily that simple. I think what it is how you combine the two. Because the original Jurassic Park uses some early CGI, but they combine it with a lot of practical shit. And I think
it's stuff like
there is an art to CGI, just as there's an art to practical effects. And I think,
as a basic principle, CGI looks good when it's dark.
Yeah.
When it's in like a shot that doesn't linger very long. And then you intersplice that with animatronics, and it works.
Yeah.
What you have in sort of Independence Day is you have like full 5 to 10 minute long scenes of people flying around in spaceships. And it's just sort of bad.
I think there's a real art to combining the two, and that's how you get the sort of the best effects that last. And it doesn't sound like Independence Day does that.
No, it doesn't. It opens with the president waking up in bed with his 9-year-old daughter.
Oh my god, this was the film. This was the film.
Yeah, this was the film.
Oh wow,
this is the film I was telling you about. And he's like, "Oh, I'm." This is the fun. Like, in context, it's like he's talking about his daughter and he's talking about how beautiful his daughter is.
Yeah.
But you sort of... I must have missed a line where it gives that context, because very literally the president wakes up with, like, a 9-year-old girl and just goes, "I'm looking at the most beautiful girl in the world."
Oh, no!
And then all of a sudden there are hillbillies riding a plane.
Oh, and Jesus.
All of a sudden, there's a spaceship flying over the moon. I didn't know what was happening for the first 20 minutes. And then it kicks in. Then a bunch of spaceships come in and basically cause havoc. And they send Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum in an alien spaceship to give the alien ship a virus, blow up the spaceship and rule the day.
Yeah.
So Will Smith's character in this has no real weaponry, but we can definitely give him either a fighter plane or a fighter jet or an alien spacecraft.
How different are the two? Like, how different is the weaponry on the two and shit like that?
Both have missiles that are probably the same.
Right.
I would say the only discernible difference is the alien ship has shields.
Okay. Fuck it, let's give him...
That's essentially it.
Let's give him the alien ship, shall we? Why not? We've got a genie and a superhero. Why not? Let's give him the alien ship.
Yeah, cool. No.
This is it Roland Emmerich, I think, is the director? Isn't he the guy who...
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, I'm not sure if I put it in our group chat, where I was just like, oh, I've just looked at the director. This all makes sense.
Director of the hit of 2022, Moonfall.
Yeah, this is a thing. Like, I can understand if people, like... I sort of understand... Whether I agree or not is a different kettle of fish. I can understand Scorsese's criticisms of the MCU. I sort of, whether it was said harshly or whatever, I can understand the sort of sentiment behind him and what he's really talking about with it. And I can understand criticisms of the MCU, and especially in today, because they're sort of playing it a little bit safe. We're all waiting for them to do something a little bit more dramatic, make a MCU horror film. That's what I want.
Fingers crossed for Moonlight. Please be good. Please be good.
But when you chat shit about the MCU and claim, I don't know what the claim was, that like if his films were as popular as the MCU,
I remember
being better.
Yeah, I remember.
But I don't know, when you take a pop at the MCU and your films are actively your most famous film is worse or on the same level as maybe the worst MCU film, you've got to make sure you're not talking too loudly.
What?
Scorsese can do it because he's a award-winning maker of classic cinema, and Cape Fear, which is a film I adore, and Shutter Island. I like Shutter Island too. So yeah, I don't know.
What Roland Emmerich said, because I remember, is it's quite funny with the specific claim he makes. He says, all these Marvel films, they're all the same. Roland, look at your filmography for the past 20 years. You've made the same film every 5 years. And, it was disaster movies...
I've seen 2012, and there are literally shots that are identical, like a ship or a car flying away from a dust cloud, from a cloud of... Like, it's the same. Yeah. It is the same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it is the same.
Yeah, exactly. And, they're disaster movies are entertaining in their own way. If you wanted to watch just cities get demolished, then sure, they're fun. And, some of them I find entertaining. But when you make the same film every 5 years, literally shot for shot in some cases, like you said, you can't really critique the MCU, which, whilst there is a formula there, they're at least a bit different, at their worst compared to...
Yeah, they're more different than Roman Emmerich films.
Yeah. Because this is his best film, generally, Independence Day. That's generally regarded as his best film. So
it is. And there's some iconic shots. I liked, you know what? I did like the shots. And I was almost going to put a message in the chat being like, the shot of the spaceship like looming from the clouds. I thought that was really cool. It did look a little bit dated, but it was sort of a little bit dated in the sense that I was talking about Psycho, in the sense that, I understand, it doesn't look like dead realistic, but I know it's of the time, and it was a cool shot, and I sort of let it slide.
Yeah.
And then it got into 10-minute space wars.
Some of the shots
where like cutscenes from a PS4 game look probably better.
Some of the shots of like the White House being blown up and shit, they look pretty cool, don't they?
I think exactly. Those are iconic shots.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them, were models. I think you can sort of tell in the shots that a lot of them are models.
Yes.
But again, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with those shots. Because they're quite cool, and I think there is something charming about how they were done. But yeah, 10-minute CGI space battle.
Yeah,
no thanks.
I'll tell you what the giveaway is with like things being blown up. You can normally tell if it's a model shot. I mean, you can just tell looking at it. But one of the big things I notice is the sparks. On model shots, you get like giant. The sparks are huge when they explode because it's a model.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always notice. Giant sparks. That must be a model shot. Yeah.
Well done. Going to our wild card now.
Oh yes, this should be fun.
I thought of this wild card with you in mind.
Interesting.
So, I was thinking to myself, well, we're all having a fun conversation where we think about who is going to be the best at killing Will Smiths or killing Smiths. In a very humorous way, not in a serious way, in just a humorous way. Who's going to be the best at killing a Smith? And I was like,
right.
For a wild card, what is a good character who's known for killing Smiths?
I'm thinking there's like a Doctor Who reference here.
No, it's not. It's not.
Matt Smith, the astronaut from Series 6.
Matt Smith was one of the candidates I looked for doing an episode on. Anyway, you may know there is a film in which Jada Pinkett Smith is killed quite brutally.
Oh.
Do you know which film this is? Because you'd have seen this film, but I'm not sure you know it's Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife.
Oh, there's a very faint tingling of bells, but...
I know there's a tingling down your...
Is it something we've watched on a podcast, or is it like something else?
No, but it's a film we've actively talked about quite... I know it's a film franchise you like.
Oh, no, I can't place it. Go on, tell me. I'm not going to get it.
Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife,
yes,
was of course killed at the start of Scream 2.
Oh! Okay.
Which is why the wild card, a renowned Smith killer,
it's Ghostface.
Scream killer.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic.
They've got experience on the... They came in, they gave me the CV, I was like, well...
Oh, we should have seen if we could get Roger L. Jackson to make an appearance, because he's doing a bunch of like fan videos now. Should have got him on the podcast.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Roger, do you want to be on our Fightography and voice yourself? Yes, I'd love to.
What's your favourite scary movie?
What's your favourite Will Smith movie?
Better not be fucking Independence Day.
If it's after Earth, I'll slit your throat now.
So yeah, Ghostface. The problem is, the Ghostface, I don't know if we've got to use like Scream like kind of law to protect him a bit, because he's just going to get gunned down instantly.
Now, later Ghostfaces have the bulletproof vest, but Scream 2 Ghostface does not. So...
Does he not?
I don't think he does. I think...
Oh, so he's just getting gunned
probably
by a bunch of Will Smiths.
I'm willing to grant him one. I'm willing to grant Ghostface a bulletproof vest here.
We could see. Maybe he can get a quick stab away.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
It's not a wild card I expect to go long within the battle.
Are there 2 killers in Scream 2? I think there are, aren't there?
Yes.
Yeah. So technically, we could also, if we're going to play it strictly to the film, there's 2 of them running around.
Give them 2 lives.
There's 2 going.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm willing to do it, just to keep him alive a little bit longer.
Yeah.
He's also very sneaky, can jump out on you.
I think this is, going back to our very first podcast where we had like 2 fighters in the same category, I think this is where we tag team them. Because they are Ghostface on separate occasions.
Yeah.
So yeah, one Ghostface goes down, tag in the other one.
Okay, I'm willing to do that.
Nice. Wow, Ghostface is the wild card. Fantastic.
Yep. So yes, that is all our characters. We've got Detective Mike Lowry, Bad Boys 2, Agent J, Men in Black, John Hancock, Dr. Robert Neville, I Am Legend, Deadshot, Suicide Squad, Genie, Aladdin, Will Smith, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Captain Stephen Hiller, Independence Day, and Ghostface, the Scream Killer from Scream.
I love when characters are named after the movie. I love because when you say it, it just sounds so great. Oh, it's Hancock from
John
the movie.
Hancock.
Yeah.
Cool. So where is this battle gonna take place? Do we have any ideas?
You mentioned a minefield earlier, which would be funny, but I feel...
Oh yeah, that would be good. But everyone's just got to dodge a minefield.
Yeah.
Like, it was a minefield in the sense you could see, like, the little wires, like, sticking out of the ground. So it wasn't... It was sort of like they knew where they could stand.
Yes.
And be safe. But I think if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah. That could be a fun one.
Some rock music.
Where else is there? What's in these films? The house from I Am Legend with all the booby traps. That's the same sort of vibe, I guess.
Oh, I'm so good. That's such a good idea. Oh, we may have to cut.
Oh, no.
We're just gonna...
There's got to be something we're missing here. What's a quality Will Smith thing?
Let's just cut until we come up with that.
Cut this.
See you in 2 ticks, audience.
Cut this.
Oh, I'm so good because I think I had a good one.
Oh.
Could do a tennis court. King Richard.
Okay, I'm down for a tennis court. Fuck it. It's a tennis court.
Okay, and we're back. And we've decided that to celebrate Will Smith's recent role in King Richard,
yes,
we're going to set the battle on a tennis court.
An idea we had immediately, and there was no editing there whatsoever. We just straight into it.
And so we've... is it a David Lloyd's, should we say? Nice
Yeah.
David Lloyd's.
Yeah.
Doubles tennis court. It's going to be difficult for Stephen Hill, who's in an alien spaceship. But, let's go for it.
Surely it's
Let's
like
say there's a
shooting
tennis
fish in a
net.
barrel. They're all in a confined space, and one little bobbing run and it's done for.
Yeah, there's a tennis net, there's a few rackets. It's a beautiful summer's day.
Yeah.
And the bell rings.
We're in the audience with our strawberries and cream. Ding ding. Here we go.
Oh, we're at Wimbledon. Maybe we should be at Wimbledon.
Maybe, yeah. Fuck it, let's make it
Maybe
Wimbledon.
we should be in the crowd. Yeah, we'll be in Wimbledon. So it's Wimbledon, centre court.
We've got our strawberries and cream, lovely stuff. There's a whole bunch of guests in the crowd, yeah.
Yeah. I've got a really disgusting story I could tell you off air about Wimbledon.
Oh, okay. That's one for the deleted scenes.
We have these characters all on centre court.
Yes.
And the bell rings.
Gunshot fires. Here we go. Now, so
this is a tricky one.
So alien spaceship guy, he's circling. Now he could go for a bombing run immediately, since everyone is like in a fairly confined space.
Yeah.
But Fresh Prince could use Genie to stop said bombing run, or like just shield himself.
Yep. Do they need to have a conversation first? Where they're like, okay, rub this lamp and I'll give you 3 wishes.
I think...
Explain the whole wishing rule.
Yeah, they like speedrun it. They speedrun the whole conversation. They turn the song into like a little jingle.
I also feel that sort of like every Will Smith character who sort of owns a gun should get into some like kind of Mexican kind of standoff thing. So like Mike Lowry pulls his like pistols.
Yeah.
Agent J pulls his big machine gun. Robert Neville pulls his guns. Deadshot pulls his guns, and they all just kind of have like a big standoff.
Okay.
With each other, and that would be a very charismatic standoff. Like Will Smith being like, "No, nobody be a dumb, stupid dickhead."
Come on now, we can all be friends here.
Yeah, and he like some witty quips.
Bunch of Will Smith noises. That's like the iconic like aha woo. They're like the Will Smith noises. So they're all making those noises at each other. Now, does Deadshot pull a Wanted where he like curves the bullet and like somehow kills all of the other Will Smiths in the standoff? Because master of trick shots, he could probably do a Wanted if he really wanted to.
I suppose. I mean, he doesn't do it in the film, but maybe he has several bullets sort of kind of aimed at the guy's head.
So, which Will fires first?
Which Will fires first? Who's got the will to fire at Will? I don't know. That's quite an interesting one. You could have...
I think Deadshot is a contract killer, so he's the least reluctant. He will just happily pull that trigger immediately. I mean, I Am Legend Will Smith, let's not forget, has not seen people for years. So maybe he's
going to be quite surprised.
Yeah, he's just delighted by seeing other people, so maybe he doesn't want to kill them immediately. So he's a bit reluctant, which could be his downfall.
It could be his downfall. What's Hancock doing at this point?
Hancock, I feel, is just sort of chilling. He doesn't really give a shit because he's indestructible. He's just... maybe he's turned the tennis net into like a hammock. He's like flipped it somehow and is now using it as a hammock in the middle of all this carnage because he just doesn't give a fuck.
But we are in a fight to the death, so I feel he has to give a fuck.
He'll give a fuck when like someone attacks him.
Oh, you know what happens?
Yeah.
They're all in a Mexican standoff, and then all of a sudden the alien ship just starts firing at them all. And then they've all got to kind of run to cover.
Okay.
Which is going to be difficult because there is no cover on an open tennis court.
No.
But they've essentially got to dodge a ricochet of bullets. And I feel that's a good way to start.
Okay, yeah.
So who's going to be good enough, agile enough to avoid the onslaught from the alien ship?
So Deadshot can probably do it.
How's that going to go down?
Because he's taking on Batman, so he can probably dodge it. Who else have we got?
I feel Agent J is quite good at that as well. He'd be quite kind of quick and smooth.
Yeah, totally.
As is... the only thing I think is I just think Dr. Robert Neville, because he is a normal man, he's a doctor, he's not really kind of weapons proficient. I feel like he's the one who's getting like kind of caught in the fire.
He does.
And he's just getting gunned down.
He does run from vampire zombies all day though, so he's probably fairly speedy. But maybe the shock of seeing all these other people, he's just, throws him off. And
he's just so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
What about his dog? Does his dog get obliterated with him as well?
The dog escapes. The dog escapes.
Maybe the dog goes for Ghostface. He sees a scary face, and the dog just goes and runs and jumps on Ghostface and starts mauling him.
Oh shit! Ghostface is famously clumsy too, so maybe Ghostface tries to run from the bombing run, away, trips on his ass,
but, slips on a banana peel.
Yeah,
they're bananas during sets.
Falls on his ass, and then the dog goes for him. It's oh shit! Fuck, leave me alone, dog! Oh fucking hell! So the dog mauls Ghostface 1. Robert Neville is torn to shreds by the bullets, dooming his planet to vampire zombies forever.
I've just thought, the thing is a missile. So what if they fire a missile at Robert Neville? There's a big explosion, everyone dodges the explosion. Mike Lowry from Bad Boys, that's all he does is dodge explosions.
Oh yeah, he's used to this.
So I think Robert Neville is blown up with a missile. All the other fighters jump out the way heroically. The dog mauls Ghostface, and Will Smith is getting a pep talk from the genie.
Of course, Bad Boys Will Smith also has the car too, doesn't he? Like we said, he was going to put up in the car.
He can get into his car.
Maybe he does the bonnet slide over to the far side of the car.
Yeah, he does the bonnet slide, gets in the car, starts speeding off, and what happens is, I don't want to be mean. Who wins out of Ghostface? Is it the Ghostface or the dog? Because although Ghostface is clumsy, I feel the dog is a very vicious dog.
I feel that as much as I love dogs, the dog's going to really maul Ghostface and fuck his shit. He's going to be wounded as fuck, but he could probably kill the dog.
Maybe
he could probably sink the knife into the dog's throat or something.
Well, maybe we should leave, because we do sort of awkwardly kill a lot of animals on this show. So maybe we leave it ambiguous. Ghostface pushes the dog away, and the dog either runs away or is so mortally injured it dies. You decide at home.
I think the dog runs up to us in the crowd, and I adopt the dog as my own. And I.
Oh yeah, okay. We're just watching with our binoculars, applauding. This is the first time that we've been sort of active in the scenario, watching the situation go down.
It's like the Colosseum. We give the whole thumbs up, thumbs down.
yeah, exactly.
So the dog is safe.
I think, Ghostface gets up, horribly mauled, to which he's immediately ran down by Mike Lowry in his Bad Boys car and run over hilariously.
To which Bad Boys Will Smith just goes, "Oh my God! Jesus Christ!"
Yeah. Whoa. And then Agent J caps him in the head with the giant space laser.
Yeah.
And they sort of do a little tag team and eliminate Ghostface.
All on Ghostface, fucking hell. I mean, they are quite indestructible, Ghostface killers, so yeah, okay.
So Ghostface has been taken out.
Tagging in second Ghostface. So
what about John Hancock? Because here's the thing, I think missiles are being fired, there's cars around there. I think, John Hancock's going to go for someone, and they're going to go for someone pretty... I don't know.
I think the missile is going to be what's, he's immediately going to be hacked off by someone blowing up, the tennis court. So he flies off into the air to chase after the ship, and jumps onto the front of it, starts smashing on the windscreen, trying to break into it. Now it has got shields, doesn't it? So the shields are going to hold him back a little bit. They're going to slow him down, but he's quite.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
because the shield, he might actually do the jump and just sort of crash off the shield.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And then fall back to the floor.
Okay, and he's just like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, he's not going to be too hurt by that, though, because
No.
he's sort of borderline indestructible.
Yeah.
So maybe he's going to have a few goes at it. He's going to have full, like, run and jumps
Yeah.
at it. But he's going to sort of kind of fail. At this point, would we say the genie has had his pep talk with Will Smith and they're ready to go into action?
Yeah, I think they speed ran the whole thing, you know. Yeah, you got offended me, you know, the whole gist, right, let's go. Woo.
Does the whole dance routine.
Or like times 10 speed.
Does all the Jack Nicholson impressions.
Yeah.
Quickly. Will Smith has no idea. Maybe because of that, Will Smith just has no idea what's going on. All he's got is like put on is like 3 wishes. But other than that, he's just got no idea what's happening.
No. So maybe he just comes back in time to see Hancock like bounce off the shield and fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh fuck, this guy's an issue. So maybe that's when he's like, Genie, for my first wish, I want to make Hancock mortal.
Oh god, okay. Yeah, okay. So he does that.
Yeah, he's still strong and shit, but he's just no longer indestructible. You can kill him now.
Or maybe I don't know. Like, this is the thing. We've got to think of Will Smith, and we've got to think carefully of their wishes and what's going to happen. Because realistically, they could just wish that they win the battle royale and said would happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what they do. I feel if they see someone really dangerous, instead of debuffing them, I think what they're going to do is try and make them really buff.
Oh, he makes himself
themselves.
into a Hancock.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but then he's not thinking it through because he hasn't seen the film. The proximity of the two Hancocks does start to cancel each other out.
Oh, yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. So maybe in this time, does Hancock get a visit from Deadshot with a rifle up his arse and just caps him in the head because he's weak, he's vulnerable, he's taken a few hits from a shield?
I think before, because it takes a little time for the Hancock effect to kick in. I believe he's not immediately like totally vulnerable. He's weakened, so maybe Deadshot takes a shot. It like bounces off his head, but there's now like a cut on Hancock's head, which is new. So he's like, and that's when Fresh Prince Hancock, Will Smith, engages OG Hancock in basically the Man of Steel fight. They're both like flying around, smashing things up,
destroying. This is where we go to the visitor's box because it's getting a bit too dangerous for us. It's like fighting in the crowd.
We just calmly walk out.
Yeah, with the dog.
Yeah.
What happens? Okay, so they're going to fight for a bit. Is the genie just going to watch? Is there any way the genie can sort of like spur him on, help him?
I think the genie's doing like the whole cheerleading, like wacky. Yeah, go on, champ.
He's got like pom poms. He's like spawned pom poms.
Yeah. Make some sort of sporting reference.
Is that boost? Yeah, exactly. Is that boost in gonna like help him? Is it gonna like help Will Smith in this fight? Is it gonna?
I think it gives him.
Actually, there is an episode I watched where they play basketball.
Yeah.
And he gets really in his element when he's getting cheered on.
Ooh.
So
okay.
And that is quite prevalent in that episode.
Okay, so yeah, this gives him the edge.
Maybe this kind of spurs him on.
So
the genie's Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
A basketball player.
So he starts to take the edge in a Hancock fight. You know, he's like, yeah, come on. He's getting carried away. You know, he's pummeling OG Hancock. OG Hancock gets some hits in. So they're both getting visibly wounded, but Fresh Prince Hancock is getting the edge.
They're getting weaker and weaker.
Yes.
And does it get to a point where Will Smith does the old Zod neck snap?
I think he does. He does the Zod neck snap, but of course, whilst all this has been going down, Deadshot has been keeping his keen eye on them, and he's observed that they are now getting weaker. So Fresh Prince gets into Zod's neck snap, but then, sort of, again, a bit like in Wanted, you just see a bullet emerge from the front of Fresh Prince Will Smith's head, cut to Deadshot behind him, putting off a sick sniper shot.
Damn. So you're saying, is Will Smith still going to be invulnerable after he's killed him? Or, like, is he going to still be mortal after he's killed him?
I think it takes a little while for it to wear off. Okay. I don't think because he would eventually be invulnerable again, but I think it takes a little while.
What I'm saying, is Will Smith from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and John Hancock are killed.
Yeah.
The genie kind of comically slumps his arms down, very sad.
Oh no.
What's the genie going to do now?
Does Deadshot pick up the lamp? And now Deadshot has the powers of the genie on his side. Oh shit.
Possibly. Well, what does Deadshot know the rules of the lamp, actually?
I don't think...
Or is Genie going to give him another pep talk? Is Genie going to actively side with Deadshot?
I think it's just like the Jafar situation where he sort of has to reluctantly fill him in on all the details to be like, yeah, okay. I guess I work for you now.
Okay.
Wow.
So are we saying Deadshot now has the powers 3 wishes?
Oh, fucking hell. I think he's taking the edge here.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, what else is happening? So we got Mike Lowry in Bad Boys 2. And we've got Agent J from Men in Black. And we've got Captain Stephen Hiller from Independence Day.
Yes.
What do we think's happening here?
Now.
Is Detective Lowry from Bad Boys 2 and Agent J in some kind of fight-off? With a car and a alien rifle?
Yeah, I think maybe he uses the alien rifle to shoot the car, sort of sends the car flipping onto its side, but he's fine inside. Bad Boys Will Smith is fine inside because it's a Michael Bay film, so he's used to this.
And they're going to get into some big shootout.
Yeah. With
lots of pistol and machine gun fire.
Yeah.
And then one just sort of pulse rifle.
Yep, just back and forth, just bullets and lasers flying everywhere. I think then the big one runs out of ammo, so Men in Black, Agent J has to use the little gun with the massive fire.
Oh yeah, you could use that. And is that gonna kill Bad Boys 2?
I think it probably would. I think it'd be like a comedy beat where he pulls it out and then Bad Boys Will Smith goes, haha, mine's bigger, and then Agent J just shoots him and then just
Yeah, sure, why not? So, Mike Lowry from Bad Boys 2, while the camera's just panning around him constantly, just gets obliterated by an Agent J. And that fight was an awesome fight scene, there's lots of dodging bullets, hiding behind cars.
There was explosions,
the car driving
bullets
towards
everywhere.
Agent J, jumping out the way, bullets everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty deadly fight that ends quite entertainingly.
Yeah. There's flames down everywhere on the court. It's entirely just flame and wreckage everywhere.
Now, Deadshot, now having been given the pep talk about how the genie in the lamp works. Well, this is my question. While Deadshot's getting the pep talk about how the lamp works,
yes,
what's Stephen Hiller from Independence Day doing?
I think he's going to come back round for another bombing run. He's had enough time to turn around, get his bearings, and
turn around. my question is, essentially, what happens first? Does Captain Steve Hiller drop a missile on Deadshot, or does Deadshot learn about the lamp and is able to combat it some way?
I think that there is someone else running around as well, which we'll get to in a minute. But I think that what he does, inspired by this awesome shot I pulled off once in the Nerf Centre of Woodlands. I think what he does, he wishes for a very special sort of gun, which
so he does know how to lamp. He can do wishes now.
Yeah. So Independence Day, Will Smith fires a rocket, and Deadshot wishes for a gun which can catch the rocket and then fire it back to where it came from.
Ooh.
Which is inspired by this fantastic shot I pulled off at that Woodlands, where I fired one of those foam balls from a cannon into the cannon on the opposite side of the shooting thing. Oh, it's fantastic. So Deadshot does that basically with a rocket and fires it back at Independence Day, Will Smith. Now, I think it's a direct hit because Deadshot never misses.
Well, it's a shield.
Now, I think the shield is it disabled by the explosion? Are the shields able to take it, or would it be taken down?
The only way to disable the shield is by a virus, from my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
So what you could do...
Oh, shit. Maybe he can win this.
Yeah. So maybe he fires the missile,
yes.
Right? Doesn't work. He sees that the shield doesn't work. He uses his second wish to take away the shield from the spaceship. And now he's got a gun that deflects missiles towards the ship. and he's got a shieldless ship.
Yeah.
So now he should be in prime condition to sort of take down that ship.
Yeah.
So maybe does Independence Day Will Smith fire another missile and the same happens and this time it hits and blows up the ship?
I think so. Yeah.
Quite possibly.
I think so.
So
the ship,
Captain Stephen Hiller from Independence Day is killed.
Yeah.
Leaving Agent J, Deadshot, and the Genie.
Plus the second Ghostface.
Plus the Screen Killer, which I've been trying to sort of hide because he's quite sneaky. And we don't sort of remember it until he just sneaks up. Now, is he gonna come back now?
Now, do we think that Deadshot has become so crazed with power that he's sort of lost his surroundings, like sense, which gives Ghostface an opportunity to sneak out and slit his throat?
He's clearly fighting a giant spaceship, so maybe while he's distracted with that, Ghostface sneaks up and stabs him in the abdomen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But does he get a killing blow? This is the thing with Ghostface. He stabs them multiple times, but it takes him a while to kill. He takes him a while before he gets the final kill. And I just think, so Deadshot's been stabbed, say, in the abdomen by Ghostface.
Yeah.
Deadshot collapses to the floor, and like Ghostface very sneakily, kind of slowly, like gets on top of him, raises his knife. Does Deadshot just go, "I wish your head explodes," or something like that?
Yeah.
To which the Genie, in fulfilling this wish, just holds a gun up to Ghostface's head and just blows his face off.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
Possibly. And is that Ghostface killed?
Yeah.
And does he take Deadshot with him?
I think Deadshot's wounded, but I don't think he's down and out yet.
Okay.
But
so it's Deadshot, the Genie, and Agent J.
Deadshot's used all his wishes now.
He has used all his wishes.
Which means he's wounded and doesn't have anything specialised to take on Agent J other than his own weapons.
Can I pitch you something else now?
Yes.
So it's Deadshot and Agent J, and they line up for a final shootout. And they've got their sort of guns by their holsters and stuff like that. And you sort of do think that Deadshot's going to be the one to get there first, but he is also mortally wounded, so we're not too sure. And it's a standoff between Agent J and Deadshot, and their hands linger by their waist where their gun is, and it's a matter of who can like pull their gun first.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we hear a gunshot, and all of a sudden there's a sort of trickle of blood from Deadshot in the chest.
Ooh.
And he turns around, and the Genie is there with a manifested gun. Or is because he's no longer in, the Genie is no longer in his power now. He's used the 3 wishes, and he hasn't given him freedom, so he's going to be quite angry and bitter towards Deadshot specifically.
Yes. I perhaps to set the Genie free, I have an extra proposal here. Now, I'm happy for you to throw this out, but indulge me for a second. Okay. The dog has left us in our little box. He's come back down into the arena. He's rubbed his little paw on the lamp, and in his dog language has wished for the Genie's freedom, freeing the Genie. And now the Genie knows that he owes his dog a great debt of gratitude. So he's like, I will avenge your master and make sure that I kill all these other fuckers. And so the dog runs back up to us, and now the Genie is free, enabling the situation you just described to take place.
Can the Genie not just kill him as a Genie?
He can,
because he can interact with matter.
He can, but I just want the dog to rub the lamp.
You just want the dog to rub the lamp. Like, I don't really mind because it's sort of the same outcome. The only difference is the Genie has his freedom, and I don't know. I like the Genie having no freedom.
Okay.
Currently,
we endorsing slavery. So the Genie.
Maybe the dog can rub his nose on the lamp and then just wish for the Genie to kill Deadshot.
Yeah, he would.
And the sort of Genie, against his will, has to like murder someone.
Maybe that's it. Maybe the dog is like, I wish that you have free reign to finish this particular fight, but that's it. So
or you wish you killed Deadshot.
Yeah, okay, just Deadshot.
Who killed
It was.
Oh, he was blown up by a missile.
Yeah, but Deadshot then killed Missile Dude, robbing the dog of his own revenge. So I guess this is still revenge for his master in a way. So yeah.
So it's Agent Smith. Not Agent Smith. Agent J. Who's Agent Smith? That's from Matrix.
Yeah.
Agent J from Men in Black. The genie and Aladdin and a dog with with 2 wishes. What happens now? So, can a dog give wishes? I'm not sure if a dog can give wishes.
I don't think the dog can give wishes. I think what happens is Agent J pulls out the neuralizer, uses it on the dog, and then just says, it just says to the dog, "Oh, you belong to those 2 up there," gesturing towards us. And so returning the dog to us, but with his memory of his former life completely wiped. So he's basically dead, free to be a new dog.
Better idea.
Oh, God.
I've got a better idea.
Oh, no. Okay.
Genie is, taking care of Deadshot. The dog is watching. Agent J neuralizes them both.
Okay.
And tells the genie that you're actually my genie. You're giving me 3 wishes.
Oh, no.
And you really like me.
Oh, no. No, please.
So we've got Agent J with 3 wishes. Do you I don't know, does Agent J really cruelly wish that the genie throttles the dog?
No!
Really cruelly. And the genie's crying.
Oh my God.
Mentally scarred after having no choice but to murder this poor animal.
Oh God.
I want you to strip the flesh from this
animal. Oh my God. Oh.
And the genie just has to do it.
No. I mean, it would be keeping in tone with his original death in the film if he just gets his neck broken by the genie.
Oh yeah, gets it cradled.
Yeah.
So does the genie murder the dog?
I suppose the genie can reenact the death of the dog from I Am Legend and break the dog's neck. If I'm not allowed to adopt this poor dog.
or the dog goes up into the rafters. Either way, the dog is out of play.
Yes.
The genie and Agent J only has 2 wishes. And this is an interesting thing. So essentially, the genie can't do anything. I don't know, can he kill Agent J?
He can't normally act against his master. He's powerless. That's part of the genie's curse. So I guess Agent J can just wish the genie to, shut him... Or maybe, I don't know, do we have... return to what happened in our very first episode with Venomized CBBS Bedtime Stories Tom Hardy, where our winner is Agent J with the power of the genie. Is that just our winner for this week?
It would be cool.
But
I seem to remember that not being a favourable outcome.
Well, it's our podcast. We'll be fair, he's only got 2 wishes left, so if this was to happen and we take him into the Champion of the Champions, he goes in with only 2 wishes remaining.
I've got a feeling. Here's my thing. Do they know about the Champion of Champions? Or maybe this is just something Agent J would do. Could he use the 2 wishes now to sort of buff himself out for the Champions of Champions?
Maybe.
And then kill the genie.
Maybe he sees what happened earlier and is like, I wish that I'm now a Hancock as well. He wishes he gets his own Hancock powers. But now there are no other Hancocks to counter him out.
That.
So he is just...
superhuman Agent J.
Yeah. So he wishes to become Hancock Agent J. And then his final wish, he says, Genie... Does he give the genie his freedom, basically killing the genie because he's lost all his powers? Or... does he just pick up the lamp and just yeet into space with his new Hancock powers?
I would say, maybe let's try and keep it in the Men in Black sort of films.
Okay.
So maybe he wishes for a time travel device or something like that, that's in Men in Black 3. And so we can sort of give Agent J a new cool weapon, grant genius freedom, and now that he's mortal... cap him in the head.
Okay, but what weapon would Will... Or do we leave this as like a cliffhanger and you'll see what weapon he gets when he returns in the Champion of Champions?
Quite possibly, yeah. So, yeah, sure, we could do that. But something in keeping with Men in Black. Not that he's just, like, invincible. Something like he gets a cool weapon from the Men in Black films. And maybe that could be part of our research for the Champion of Champions.
Some really cool, like, sci-fi weapon. Maybe specifically for Men in Black, or maybe just, like, keeping in tone. Like, maybe it's like...
Or maybe he gets his partner, Agent K.
Ooh. Maybe.
But it's sort of like a be careful monkey paw thing, where it's now like deformed hybrid Agent KJ or JK.
Maybe. Maybe he wishes for his partner, but his partner in Men in Black 3, when he's young, is played by Josh Brolin. And so with the monkey paw thing, what he actually gets is Thanos rock up as his partner.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't think we can make that extend to the leap.
Maybe not.
But I'm willing to say, for this podcast, Agent J frees the genie, and then with his newfound mortality is capped in the head with a space gun.
Yes.
Oh, no, this is too extreme.
Oh, God.
Or maybe he neuralizes the genie again and gets 3 more wishes.
Oh, my God.
And that's how he defeats the system and gets unlimited wishes.
He could do.
So maybe we'll come back to this. But maybe we can give him, for the Champion of Champions, we can, like, make Agent J super buff Men in Black Agent J.
Yeah. Either with unlimited wishes or just super Men in Black powers.
Yeah, something like that. With, like, loads of guns, loads of weapons at his arsenal. Yeah. His partner, like, deformed, hanging from his hybrid body.
Basically, he looks like a 90s comic character where they've just got pouches full of ammunition and guns everywhere and just shit strapped all over them. Yeah.
Exactly. The shades and everything. His eyes are glowing blue.
Yeah. Does he wish like every sci-fi weapon ever pulls out like a lightsaber and...
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's just the power of pop culture.
Oh my God.
He becomes a god. he ascends into godlikeness with these unlimited wishes.
He just becomes Guy from Free Guy, who just pulls out like, it's Captain America's shield and all this shit. Yeah.
So I guess in that very weird sense, and sort of a little bit of a cliffhanger, Agent J from Men in Black wins the Will Smith Battle Royal.
Yes, the last shot we see is just a blinding flash from the court, cut to black. We're not entirely sure what's happened.
We are the men of
Oh yeah, perfect.
I think that's quite surprising because I didn't have my money on Agent J winning actually.
No,
but I think it's a convoluted way. It's a lot of genie manipulation. But no. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, that was
and a strong character to take in the Champion of Champions to basically fight against these gods.
Yeah, indeed. That was a good match, I feel. A very good match. We had some interesting matchups. We had some cool set pieces. Yeah. I thought Ghostface
got a stabbing.
Yeah.
He got a single stabbing, which is, more than I thought you'd get, to be honest.
Yeah.
Genie was clearly a standout.
Of course.
I think John Hancock maybe didn't perform like we expected him to.
No. I think they had a cool fight, but yeah, the nature of his power meant that he was...
Obviously Robert Neville didn't do very well.
No.
I liked Mike Lowry's kill with the car.
Yeah.
Stephen Hiller was pretty tough in that spacecraft.
Yeah, he did well. He got some bombing runs in.
Yeah.
Deadshot was probably our like man of the match because I think he got the most kills.
Most active, I suppose.
Yeah,
he's quite active at least.
He killed Ham.
I think the genie sort of gets lots of assists.
Yeah, the genie is like yeah.
Well, actually, I think Agent J got the most kills because he killed Bad Boys 2. Sort of killed Deadshot. Kills Genie. So that's 3.
Yeah. The dog's fate is uncertain. He may have killed the dog, but who's to say?
He may be with us now.
Indeed.
He may be in the room with me.
Indeed. Maybe he is our like mascot going forward. Maybe he joined us. This ends with the both of us sat in our thrones with the dog by our side, and then by the next one there are now 3 thrones with the dog in the third one.
So Dan, tell us about the Twitter polls.
So, yes, I shall load up the old Twitter. Oh, my lock screen happens to be a dog, which looks exactly like the I Am Legend dog. Who'd have thunk it?
Well, there you go. There you go.
Now, last time I checked on the poll, oh no, it's okay. Our poll earlier when I checked was a 50-50 split between, and spoilers for the Zoe Kravitz episode last week if you haven't listened to it yet. So our top 4 were Lita Lestrange, Toast the Knowing, Lego Catwoman, and Christina from Divergent. Now, it was a 50-50 split earlier between Lego Catwoman and Christina from Divergent. But it's now tipped in Lego Catwoman's favour. So the People's Champion is Lego Catwoman for Zoe Kravitz. However,
yep,
that's not what happened in our episode. But I can fully endorse that as an outcome because Lego Catwoman is great. But sadly, she was just, it wasn't her time. So yeah, I'll put up a poll for this week on the Twitter on Monday, same as I always do. That is at jazz_lasagna. That's at jazz_lasagna is the Twitter. Vote in our poll or comment if you think someone else deserved it.
Yep, and if you'd like to email us, you can email us at jazzlasagna@gmail.com. Agent J is today's winner of the Will Smith Fightography. Thank you for listening. I have been Max.
I have been Dan.
And thank you for listening to another Jazz Lasagna Fightography.
Until next time, we'll see you next time. That is referencing one of my terrible Year 8 drama pieces we had to do, where I forgot what my goodbye line was and said the same thing twice.
It's a reference nobody knows.
Yep, but I think it's funny.